So we are set. Let's.
I think I'll win the 100 meters, Warsaw 100 meters sprint. I've had so much coffee from yesterday. पुलिस भी नहीं पकड़ पाएगी.
Okay, so welcome once again, everyone, to today's season 2 finale session, and we are so glad that we are hosting our own Amit Ashar today afternoon. Thank you, Amit, for accepting our invitation and for taking us through your journey today. And before we start off the session, as usual, I would just request all the participants to please turn off your videos and keep them off during the session. Also, please do not unmute your microphones during the session so that it helps the speaker not to get distracted. Welcome once again to this season 2 of online interaction series by F.Stop. F.Stop, as most of you may know by now, was started in 2008 by Vinay, Ashit, and me. My name is Devang. And since 2008, we have been doing a number of activities and webinars and stuff like that. So I'm just going to run a small video for all of you to see the activities that we have done so far. Okay, so before I hand it over to Raj, I'm just gonna quickly do a short introduction of Amito for everyone who's here. And yeah. So Amit Ashar leads twin lives that sometimes intersect. Amit Ashar's journey as a commercial photographer has been punctuated by visual side paths that are both unexpected and hugely satisfying. His film poster images, Rang De Basanti among others, and many ad campaigns have dominated public memory, and an association with legendary cinematographer Ashok Mehta has tuned both his visual sensibility and sensitivity. When Amit is not looking for photographs, photographs find him, and in the extraordinary rhythms of the ordinary, in the joyous serendipities of the everyday. That's Amito for you. Over to you, Raj.
Hey Devang, thank you so much. Welcome to everyone to this season finale of this lovely series of talks that F.Stop is doing. Today, I'm most excited to be introducing you to somebody whose life has intertwined with mine in several ways over the years. Uh, it was in 2006 that I bought a T-shirt which I was most proud to own. I still own it. It's a T-shirt that had the picture of these four men jumping up with "Rang De Basanti" written on top of it. Much later, I realized that Amit Ashar had photographed that moment, which has become seminal, which has become iconic in a certain recent history of Indian cinema. 1 year after that, in 2007, in the monsoon of 2007, I just picked up photography and I made what I thought was my first really nice street photograph. It had, a sea wave was rising up in Verdi sea face, and there were three people in very different moods across the frame. But there were also three people in the corner of the frame. Those three people were Bobby Deol, Sunny Deol, and Dharmendra. Again, as I realized, a poster of Apne shot by Amit Ashar. A few years later, he gets married to somebody I have known for, I think, 29 years. Much later, right now, I think he's staying in a house that I have been visiting since I've been 2 days old. He's been staying in the same building right now. It's crazy, these coincidences that can happen between two photographers, and I think it's these coincidences that drive Amit as well, because if you see what he's done commercially, though I think today is not the space for that, and then you see the as the introduction said, the visual side parts that he has taken into things that might seem extremely ordinary, but he keeps finding these little spells of magic in them. Amit, I leave the floor up to you.
Thank you, Raj. You leave me with a very heavy bonus. But yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for the written introduction also. That by the way, what Devang read out was written by Raj. Thank you, Raj, once again for those glowing compliments. It makes me see my own complexion differently. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So, where do we start? Photography. I studied in a boarding school, and yeah, there was always a fascination for the sound of a camera. I loved the sound of a camera. It looked really important, especially cool rangefinder type cameras used to look really important. So from then, I had a fascination to hold cameras, but do nothing more, understand nothing more about them. However, things happened. I failed in my 12th, didn't know what to do. Can laugh about it today, thankfully. But tried my hand at many romantic ideas that I had, like I wanted to design a Ferrari, the next model of a Ferrari. So I joined the technical institute. Little did I know that for the first 3 months, they are going to give me a file in my hand and tell me to file a piece of metal. I didn't last a day more than those 3 months there. I was out of there. Likewise, I was out of many places. And till one day, my bhabhi recommended that I try photography. My uncle had also said that to me. And I used to wonder, I'm not going to shoot pictures in weddings all my life, because that's where I saw photographers or I saw images in newspapers. My literacy about photography was not more than that. So my bhabhi said, no, there's a lot more to photography. She took me to a friend's studio in Kalanagar. And I entered there and my world changed. It was a nice air-conditioned space. There was this guy who looked like he was the boss of the place. He was wearing shorts and he was wearing a vest. And there were some products lying on a table, some steel utensils. And he had a couple of lights around them and a third light and some reflectors being held. And there was music playing in the studio. And he kept looking at the products, and then looking at it through the camera. And he went and made himself a cup of coffee. He was sipping coffee. What hit me was that this guy wasn't working. He wasn't working. This is a place that I could spend the rest of my life in. That was the lure initially. And then I heard the sound of the camera, which came right back to me. Oh, I love this sound. Superb. So it began. Then I wanted to find out more and more about it. And it gave me the excuse to look busy also. I wasn't doing anything much. So I started finding out things. I started reading books. There's this lovely bookstore called the Strand Bookstall, where the owner, the late Mr. Shanbag, he was very kind to people who couldn't afford to buy books. He would allow them to sit there, read the books, make notes. So Strand Bookstall became my heaven, and I used to read a lot there. And bit by bit, I became friends with students from JJ School of Arts, and I got into their dark room, sneaked into their dark room, did their projects, tried my hand at everything. That's the way I learned. I could borrow their cameras too. Then I got a job with a wonderful photographer. He's like an elder brother to me, Sanjeev Amine. Today he's one of the country's biggest car photographers. He was self-taught completely and a maverick at mind. So it was completely unorthodox. His style was completely unorthodox. He would do things that were not written in books. His style of shooting was to find the toughest spot and put a car there. गाड़ी को वहां लगाते हैं, अच्छा दिखेगा. And that's how somehow we would get the car to a tough spot. So it was a great learning with him. And he allowed me to learn, in the sense he would allow me to do pack shots, use the medium format camera, use the large format camera. So I became conversant with all that equipment. Bit by bit, that went on for a few years. And then one day I saw a particular ad in the newspaper. It was an ad for Phenolics pipes. And I said, what is this? Why haven't I seen photography like this before? And things changed, and bit by bit, every kind of second to 2-3 weeks, one new ad would come out, and again, incredible photography. And every time I followed the name, tried to find out who was behind that ad campaign, the name came, Swapan Parekh. One name came up. Bit by bit, this started getting to me. I said, what is this? This guy is making us look like fools. So good. So good. So I used to think Swapan Parekh at that time, this must be 25 years back, I guess, maybe more. I used to think Swapan Parekh is an old man. He's about 65 years old. He's very wise. Only wise people can shoot like this. Young, reckless people can't shoot like this. Till one day I happened to meet him. And I realized he was a couple of months younger to me. So it started a very bad era of photography in my life, because I thought if I put a wide angle lens onto my camera, my next picture will be like that of Swapan Parekh. I ruined so much film. It's not funny. It really is not funny, because it used to cost a lot of money to shoot film. However, tried. Long later, things happened, and I realized that I can't be Swapan. At least try and be myself. So one day, I think I found myself, and in this Doran, actually my tryst with visuals first started when I saw a film called Ijazat. I loved watching film, but I never thought that, there's somebody putting a lot of effort into making these lovely visuals come true. And films those days were usually over the top and So one just saw it for the cheap thrills and the thrill value of it. Till Ijazat. Ijazat, there was this particular song which I thought was real, yet it was beautiful in its realism. It wasn't artificially made up, and light like we don't get to see. It was like we get to see. It was like an ordinary home, but the aesthetic was very nice. That lovely curtain blowing slightly, the setting sunlight, and a cup of chai on the side, and Rekhaji sitting and singing this song. And yeah, I found out there is somebody who made this visual happen, and the name was Ashok Mehta. I found myself looking for him, and a common friend one day introduced us. And yeah, from day one, I had great admiration and love for him. From day one, there was something that there was an instinctive feeling of love, which much later I realized that after he was gone, I realized that so many people, everybody who had been touched by him, they thought they owned a portion of him. They owned him more than others. That was the quality of the man, Ashok Mehta. He was an incredible cinematographer and an incredible human being. So without saying too much more, I happened to spend a lot of time around him. So I got to photograph him a lot. And because of my admiration for him, I would train my camera onto him rather than the actors that were around. Because to me, he was one of the biggest stars I've seen. The personality, the body language, every bit of him was what he did. I mean, culminated together and came into doing what he did. What he did. I will come to that later, but first we should see some of the images of him that I've shot over the years. Unfortunately, these are the later images, more in the digital this thing. I have a lot of images of him on film, but I haven't been able to scan them and put them here. So these are among the latter part of his life, the last few years of his life. You'll see a distinct bit of that last bit in these images. So, can I start?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Perfect.
I saw him everywhere. He was an amazing man. He left home from Kabul as an 8-year-old. And he told his mother then that I have to go. I have to become something. मुझे कुछ बनना है. Uneducated completely. Sold boiled eggs when he first came to Bombay. And then from then, one step to the other, to be selling tea where there were shootings going on, to becoming a production assistant, to becoming a chai wala boy in a studio, to becoming a carpenter in a studio, to becoming a camera attendant, and then it was straight DOP. Uneducated, but so curious, he would look at every book. Read a bit, but he was always very curious about everything, completely self-educated.
Amito, your voice broke
This
in
picture I
between a
taken.
couple of
Okay, now is it good?
just a while back. Yeah, so just I think your connection is slightly playing up. So
I have my router right next to the laptop.
Amit, maybe Bhavna's also keyed into the same thing. Maybe one of
No, she.
we can't hear you.
No, she's not on. We don't have Wi-Fi. Can now? Hello, hello.
this is better.
It's better. Yeah.
Huh. This image of his I shot just jesting with him, saying, "ये भाभी को भेजने वाला हूँ, ये कपड़े के बीच से नैन मटक्का चालू है आपका." तू भी क्या क्या देखता रहता है? That was his thinking expression, with one thumb below his nose. I happened to catch an A for Ashok in that ladder. That's the swag. As you might notice, most of these images are from, I think, 2 years before he passed away. So his ailment had already taken him over, but either he was not disclosing it or he didn't know at that time. But you can see the slight slowing down in his eyes in this. And wherever he got a chance, he used to catch a nap because he used to get tired at that time. And he slept with so much swag, he barely slept actually. He always knew that there was a camera pointing at him. He was such a poser. The minute he sensed a camera, something would change in his body language. It would like get a little, bache. And he could sense it from behind him. These are the kind of poses that would happen. I wish Baman was here today also, because most of these images are from a shoot we did in England, in Newcastle. And Baman and I were a part of the same film crew. And we had such a blast there. Those were some images of Ashok ji. Shall I move on to phenomenal or?
Amazing pictures, amazing pictures. I just want
Thank
to
you.
quickly check Raj. Yeah.
Raj is mute.
Yeah, should we see all the pictures, maybe even phenomenal magic at the next set, and then we can
Sure.
ask the questions?
Sure. Phenomenal magic of the ordinary might sound a cheesy term, but it's true for me. I do believe that there is a lot of magic in the ordinary. I think I live in that world where there are these little pockets of magic going on. They draw me into that world. So I'm rather cut off. Dunyadari type things I don't know much about. I get pulled up for that all the time. My mother says it to me also till date. कि तुम यार पता नहीं तुम्हारा दिमाग कहाँ होता है, क्या देखता है, क्या सोचता है. You just have. Why can't you be just normal? How can I be if I live in a world like this?
Talk about this picture. No?
This almost got me arrested. This is where it started, the whole thing about putting a wide angle lens and making the next picture like Swapan Parekh. Okay, Swapan Parekh didn't happen, but something happened. And I'd shot this image in Kabul. And when we were shooting for Kabul Express with Kabir, and there was an incident that happened when I was shooting this. The armored cars came and stopped in front of me. This is the bombed palace of Kabul. Ironically, it's called the Dar ul Aman, which means the gates of peace. But it's been bombed from all sides by warlords. And it's such a beautiful monument. It's been bombed. They just bomb it. One warlord will bomb it from one side. Other will say, okay, he's bombed it, I should bomb it too. Another will bomb it from this side. So it goes on. They're a little nuts. They're like the Gaulish village. So I was there. This was my Nat Geo moment with my camera in front of the bombed Darul Aman. Okay, what we are not seeing here, because this image worked for me, is that the entire backdrop of this is snow-capped mountains. It's very beautiful. But unfortunately, this is what I saw. So these armored cars came and stopped me and stopped, and they picked me up and they were about to take me in till the commander heard I spoke in English, and well, they found out everything about me. They took a picture of me, and from their database, they must have known everything about me in 30 seconds. And had Kabir and his crew not landed there in time, I don't know. I don't want to think what could have happened to me that day. It was a bad scene. So, however, this image I had shot on that day, and I went back to the hotel and I opened my laptop, and for the first time I looked at an image that I'd shot, and this was 2006, I think, yeah, 2005, end 2005, December 2005. And I looked at this image, I kept staring at it, and it was like there was a little bit of disbelief. Have I shot this? Have I shot this? This is not like me. I shoot with tele lenses. How did I manage to get this? And I took the laptop, and one of the actors of the film, Arshad Basi, is a very, very close friend. So I took the laptop and I went to his room, and I just nonchalantly placed the laptop there, open, with this image open. And we were having a drink. And suddenly Arshad just happened to do a double take when he saw this. He said, "ये किसका photo लगाया तूने?" And I said, "क्यों? इसे किसने खींचा है?" I said, "मैंने खींची है." ये तूने खींची है? क्या बात कर रहा है यार ये? ऐसी फोटो तेरे पास से नहीं देखी कभी. And that gave me the impetus that there was something working for it. So I borrowed an entire bottle of Jack Daniels from Arshad, went back to my room and drank it all up. Just kept staring at this image. It was, I don't know, the eureka moments that people say they have. I thought this was the first time I felt good after having shot an image. And something that I could stare at all night and just feel happy and get drunk. That's what we did, get drunk, whether happy or sad or hungry or thirsty. However, moving on next, this was Kabul. I understand why my mother thinks I'm nuts. I think this one describes me. Now that I'm looking at it, it describes me correctly. One crack joining another. Or that looks like the labyrinth that my brain must be. I really enjoy it when I can't describe an image. Many a time people have asked me about this, but I don't know what to say. It's just something I like about it.
Wow.
So much happening in the world. All around us. As Raisa says, ना, मुन्ना देखो तस्वीरें तो बिखरी पड़ी है चारों तरफ. देखो, अरे यहाँ भी देखो तस्वीरें, यहाँ भी तस्वीर बिखरी पड़ी. I think I shot this image when we'd gone to Recce for our wedding. Bhavna and I gone to Recce for our wedding to Pondicherry. And one morning, very hungry, we were looking for breakfast and we were riding on the scooter looking for breakfast. And I stopped the scooter and I said, I have to shoot this image. I'm seeing something, please. And she knew, okay, half an hour's gone. And I'm very hungry. But we managed to get it in like 5 minutes. One has to be really lucky also with these images. Really, really lucky. What are the chances that it looks like a crane has put the rest of the tree there? What are the chances of a crane being there at that time? Not everybody is blessed with stuff like that. I'm very thankful that this happened to me.
The chance is in your eyes. It's not in everybody's eyes.
Very dikhta hai. Actually, for the longest time, I used to see things like this because if I go back into my negatives, I will see. But I used to wonder, कौन देखेगा इन तस्वीरों को यार? Unless you make a nice glossy image of someone, nobody's going to look at it. That was the impression. Uncle Woody through my eyes. I sent him this image. I got an email ID from his Twitter account or something, and I sent this image to that email ID, and I did get a secretary type person's reply saying, "You are as crack as he is." Again, another image that I don't know what to say. I have nothing to say about it. It's just that it catches my eye. And also it has lots of boxes and a tissue box. Mobile phones are a boon, really. They're beautiful. Sorry, Raj. Actually, this should have gone into another folder of Mira's images because Mira is my daughter. Um, so this was one of the visits to our lovely gynecologist where I saw this and I took pictures. Actually, there quite a few images have come out of that, those visits to the gynac. Some of them aren't here, but yeah, lots of images in that hospital. Although Mira was born at home.
Go back to the last image now. I think people need to see that for a while.
This is quite a historical day also. I had a studio for 10 years, a beautiful place where I lived also. This was my backyard. And this was the morning of my last day there. During that day, I packed my bags and I left. In the morning when I came out into the backyard with my toothbrush, suddenly I saw the sun streaming through this little, uh, from one angle it looked like it's coming through that bulb made by a rope. And I went and pulled out the camera and
Many times we romanticize about everything in life, but this really is a moment uh, where actually your life, I mean,
turn.
Aram Nagar,
Yeah,
a big
Ramnagar was
part
the
of
turn of an era. It was an
that,
end of an era of my life.
and a big part of all of our lives. So
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh
something
yes.
switching off, something switching on. I mean, it sounds
Yeah.
superficial, but that's why
One
it's
switching
lovely
off.
to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
back to this picture because of the memories.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, no, please. This is my dear friend Shrek. Okay. Actually, it's Saurabh Shukla. There's a uh, little element here that I quite like. This was a wall in my studio, which, when it started peeling, it looked quite interesting. So I let it be. And one evening, Saurabh just called and said, "Will you give me a drink?" I said, "Sure, come on." And I saw the shadow of his falling on the wall, and I said, "This is very interesting. Let's shoot this." And uh, that little heart type shape where his glass is, instead of an ice cube, I sometimes feel he's got the heart in his glass. He's all heart anyway. Such a lovely person, great actor, one of the most effortless actors I've ever come across, and a lovely, lovely, lovely guy with a crazy sense of humor. Ah, so Mira's journey, of course, from before she came into this world, Bhavna had Mira in her tummy then. It's not wrong to say that children, every bit of a baby is expressive. Thank you, Swapan, for that lovely image of Bhavna and me that all of you see in the background. That was one of Swapan's images, wonderful images that he shot during our wedding. Raj and Swapan, Amit, all three of them. So lovely. I mean, this is called good fortune. Bhavna and I didn't even have a photographer for our wedding. And here we get the best photographers in the country coming in photographing for us without being asked or anything. They just picked up their cameras and gave us the most incredible series of images. We hadn't even signed up for images. We had thought दोस्त यार हैं phone से खींच लेंगे जो होगा वो मिलेगा, but this camera business gets us conscious. At least me. That was me. Bhavna Prince. She's a beautiful, beautiful in front of the camera. Hi. These images are during the lockdown. We're fortunate to be living here on the ground floor where there's this open area of the building where nobody comes. So I've hung a jhula for Meera and she can get some sun and the breeze outside. This is again one of our. Sorry, Raj, I didn't take your permission for putting this image. This is lockdown for us. The last almost 2 months have been this for us every afternoon. This was during lovely talk by Summer. Social distancing. That's Mr. Hercules, this little mouse in the foreground. He really thinks he's a Rottweiler. I think he's 10 years old now. But I think he there are no mirrors at home, so he hasn't seen himself. And somebody for years been showing him photos of a Rottweiler and telling him that this is you, this is you, this is you. So he thinks he's a Rottweiler. Look at him. This is something I just saw, and I thought this is the coolest mask that somebody, coolest look that somebody could, mask look that somebody could wear during the COVID-19 pandemic. What are the chances of a broom looking like a cool rock star? Again, social distancing.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Amit.
Before Raj,
Thank
you
you,
say
thank you.
anything, this is season finale. We have the veto power today. Amit, you are, the line, the first line of your introduction, it gives me so much of, amazement by looking at your pictures today. That line so well goes into the depth of you as a human being. It's like, you have a twin person inside and who's like a magician and who sees things so beautifully in the most mundane or the most basic elements of our life. So glad you did this today. Thank you so much, Amito.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you guys.
No.
Devang,
It's
Ashir,
our
Vinay,
privilege,
you guys
man.
have.
This
I
is
to asked for it.
unbelievable.
I asked for it. I
No, it's
called up Vinay
unbelievable.
and I said, I want to also.
We would have,
Therefore, I'm here.
we would have been so less privileged if we would not have seen this today. Amazing. Over to you,
Thank you
Raj.
guys. Glad you like.
Thank you, Devang.
Take it off screen sharing. Amit.
Huh.
It's, cool. So we have a couple of questions from audience members, but before we move to them, I want to ask a couple of my own questions. Uh, Amit, first coming to something that you didn't exactly show today, but you have shot promotional stills for several movies as we spoke. You shot for Rang De Basanti, Delhi 6, Kabul Express, Aankho Dekhi, Metro. I mean, so many more. What did this experience on all these film sets with several directors and cinematographers teach you? And how did it make you look differently at the idea of the visual?
I wasn't there on every set. I was there on Rangde, on Kabul. Kabul, I went because I had to. Rangde, it's a dear friend's film. I shoot posters for most of his films. But yeah, I love films and whatever goes around. Before I got into photography or anything to do with visual, I used to go to watch a film to the cornermost, remotest theaters here in Calcutta. The whole world of cinema, even the selling of tickets, I used to find very interesting. In Calcutta, there was a theater where the gates to the lower stall bookings would open at 10 o'clock sharp in the morning. And so there was a shutter, a metal collapsible shutter, behind which people were thronging like there's going to be a stampede. And when that opened, they ran from there onto the window and put their money there and bought lots of tickets, which they would sell in black. And there was one guy who used to leave a monkey over people's heads. And then monkey would jump over people's heads, go and jump on the counter, give the money and a slip which said how many tickets, and that guy would give tickets and he would jump back on people's heads and come back. These are the kind of things that I've seen uh, around cinema. The life around cinema is as interesting. I wish I was a kid then. I wish I was photographing. I wish I was Hemant Chaturvedi, who's documenting single screen theaters as we speak across the country. He's. I wish he'd seen something like this, but I'm sure he's seen a lot more than this also. He's shooting some very interesting images around. So cinema really interested me, and being on set was one of the most fun things because people were lovely, people were interesting. Your work doesn't feel like it's work. At the end of the day, everybody gets together, sits in a room, drinks, or sits in some nice place because we are in a nice location. They drink, they sing songs, they get drunk, do other mad things. So it's a great life. I craved that life. I mean, my training initially was in advertising, in photographing cars, but I have never shot a car in my life. So, but I loved cinema, so I found myself gravitating towards movie sets. Um, but as I went by, one thing I realized that posters are an area of cinema that seem to be lacking in thought. Because why shoot them artificially when there is so much going on in a film? And if you are planned about it, if you're carefully planned about it, you can make such wonderful posters which look true to the film. So while I was shooting, my quest was always to be able to get that image which was very true to the film and still make the poster. So during Rangde, when this moment happened and I shot this and I took the image to Mehta, I showed it to him on the camera. He looked at it and he said, the first poster of the film. And he took my camera and he went and showed it to Amit. Amit looked at it and he said, not just the first poster, the only poster of the film this should be. Before people's backs towards camera, no faces showing. Imagine the conviction these two people had to be able to say something like that, whereas the producers probably had another angle going on that they wanted Amir Khan's face with Khalsa tattoo or showing so that they could sell Punjab territory and all those things going on. But here, these two people look at their conviction and belief, and that helped it to become that image to become what it has today. I was lucky to be there. Anybody else in my place would have shot it. So cinema, I've always gravitated to it. But yeah, and I've been fortunate to have been able to shoot some posters which have given me that satisfaction. Aankho Dekhi, another lovely film, and I really enjoyed shooting the posters. Sanjay Mishra is also one of my favorite actors. So many such films I have had the good fortune to be able to shoot posters for, which have been a meaningful experience for me.
But can you reflect on the fact that eventually a movie going experience, and you have a lot of lovely cinematographers as friends, like Anil sir spoke 2 days ago, and he's on screen right now.
Why do you think I'm speaking so quietly?
No, but can you reflect on a movie going experience is usually 2 to 3 hours. A poster or a photograph, a film still is that one moment. So how do the two worlds, what do you consider to be the challenge of picking out that one moment from the 3 hours of, the emotional ride that movie has taken?
If you read the script and have been a part of the discussions, there are some moments you can identify and say that we could make posters out of these moments, which would uh, be uh, interesting visuals, but also represent the film correctly.
Right.
So that exercise, if it's followed a little more sincerely, will result in many lovely posters. Unfortunately, that's not the case. They don't do that so often. Very few people do it. I think Sanjay Bansali did that for Black very carefully. They identified moments and they shot those moments on set. That's why the posters look so lovely, real, and
Yeah.
totally representing the film.
Yeah.
So that is one area I feel where there could be improvement in our and working with DOPs. Such lovely work they do, and to be able to do something over such a long period of time to hold some. We are still photographers for a reason, I think, because we can't hack things more than a moment. To be a DOP, I would shudder. I'll get nightmares. How am I going to do this? Like Mehta sir yesterday was saying while shooting, day before yesterday, he said, while shooting Radha Kaise Na Jale, he was in a quandary ki ye gaon ke beech mein now, what am I supposed to light this up with? What is supposed to be my source? I don't know.
Mm.
These are the kind of battles they face every day. And he said this of a film which was very, very consciously and responsibly made, and they worked very hard at every little bit of the film. There are so many where they don't give a rat's ass about light source and anything to do with conscious storytelling. So they must be living in again, Mehta said you need to find yourself something else to do in the evening. Otherwise, it can drive you up the wall.
Right. Okay, I just want to, before I move to the panelists, I want to specifically ask you about your uh, pictures of Ashok Mehta. I think there's an inherent irony in training a camera at someone who is a master of the camera themselves. And at least the photographs you showed us today, there is almost an element of mystery and swag. I mean, it looks like this Joseph Losey film with fedora hats and silhouettes, and it's almost like there's a crime that's going to be committed, and there is this star who's in his hat who's walking in the shadows. That's what it looks like. Now, was he always this contemplative, brooding personality? Is that the way you chose to portray him, or is that the way he would subconsciously perform for the camera because he was so aware of the camera?
No, the brooding bit was. Otherwise, he was a man with a lot of swag. Serious amounts of swag. His body language, his forearm was like this thick, and he very tough man with a tough body language and the kindest heart, which showed in his eyes. But most of these images are slightly broody because he was ailing at that time. He was a little down. He was ailing. It was the start of his ailment and it hadn't been diagnosed yet, but he wasn't well at that time. So you find that slightest bit of, aloofness, tiredness, melancholy, whatever you may call it. Now, it wasn't melancholy. It was a little tired. A lot of pictures of him resting.
Yeah.
So it is almost representative of that last era of his. Whereas my earlier images will have, there are some images I know they're on film. I have to scan those negatives, where you find him holding one HMI on his shoulder and walking up a hill, like him standing on a crane on 1 foot, on like 3 inches of space, with just 1 foot there, and with his hand, as though he's a mountain goat, he's standing up there. He's off the cliff somewhere on a crane with one humongous HMI sitting next to him on the crane. And it's like got a 2,000 foot fall below him. But he's standing there on that crane like a mountain goat. So there was solid swag he had, and gutsy man he was. I mean, mesmerizing personality. If you were around him, he was a commanding personality, beautiful man. So difficult not to see him. And I was fortunate to be around in so many places that I said, okay, he's a man with a swag, but you see him in these situations also. I can see him reflecting in the window of a coffee shop also. And he's sleeping. There also he's sleeping. He's sleeping in so many places. He's sleeping under a table sometimes, behind a library sometimes, in the car. But while sleeping, he always knew there was a camera. That's why the slight bit of swag always showed up.
Right. I want to ask one final question before I move into the panelists and the participants. I think a lot of images in your personal work need sometimes a few seconds to be read because they are visual puns, you know, where you look at it, then you do a double take, and then you sort of chuckle to yourself. But in the kind of commercial work you do, uh, there is often a need to be, for lack of better terms, more direct. Do you think that's ever at odds with each other? And do you think your personal work and your commercial work have influenced each other in any way?
Well, I guess an inherent nature shows itself everywhere. But where commercial work is concerned, are skilled to be technicians as well. You given a brief, and you have to be within the brief. If you're shooting surf, you have to shoot it like surf. If you're shooting Nirma, although they both are detergents, you have to shoot it like Nirma. So that skill has to be honed, which is like learning grammar and doing it. But if you try and be conscious in your way of shooting, if you have those self-disciplinary thoughts running in your head, yeah, I will try and use less Photoshop. I will try and do whatever I can with lighting instead of using those tools, and not make an excuse to use Photoshop. Thankfully, I can't even use Photoshop. I'm not very good at it. So I end up messing up a picture. So I don't have a choice but to try and light it up better. But ideologically, everybody has an ideology of sorts, which filters into the commercial work also some or the other.
Mm.
It does.
Okay, can I bring Anjuman Deodhar on camera?
Oh, very different.
Can I
Yeah,
usher you in?
sure,
Hi,
Raj.
Anjuman.
Just one sec, yeah, just one sec. Yeah, he's there. Go ahead. Yeah, hi.
Okay, I haven't met you in 2 years. We can't meet like this. लोग क्या कहेंगे?
I've been trying to follow up with you about teaching me a little bit about visual literacy. And as luck would have it, Bhavna, the first thing that she posted was how you educated her about visual literacy. I would like to put you
Oh,
on the
really?
spot.
Oh,
And
she's very kind.
even Soumya mentioned this yesterday that so all of us who are like the non-professionals over here would love to hear about that from you.
Sorry, what was the question again? Visual literacy.
So, if you could.
In my case, you would call it illiteracy. Illiteracy is a better word to describe it. Look at what I'm seeing here. Come on. Cracks in the wall and
Yeah, but being able to appreciate the beauty from that.
I think it's my escape. I live in that world. I leave the drudgeries of the world and I find these little pockets in the world to escape to and feel happy. Arey, ye dekh kya dekh gaya? Arey, ye kya dekh gaya? And it's a happy world out there. If you live in that sort of a world, it's quite happy.
Amit, if I can add to Anjuman's question, you were doing photography from, I believe, the early 90s.
Yeah.
You were shooting for a good 10 to 15 years before you started photographing something like the phenomenal magic of the ordinary.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you reflect on on that journey of how the idea of what a photograph should be changed for you, because this talk is going to be seen by everyone. People who are just
Yeah,
months into
yeah,
photography,
it's
who
a
are not
very,
photographers,
very,
who are
very
trying to see
interestingly
further
put,
with it.
because I think the way of, but it's just that I used to think usko kaun dekhega, aisi tasveer ko kaun dekhega, till I started getting to see images like that when I saw Lee Friedlander's book of self-portraits, first book of self-portraits. I said, wow, there are other people shooting quirky stuff also out there and enjoying it. So that gave me the confidence to start. I said, if for no one else, let me at least shoot it for myself. And when digital came, I started shooting like it, because in film we would think twice before. करेंगे क्या इस तस्वीर का? क्यों पैसा खर्च करो उसके ऊपर? So that was the attitude. But yeah, Anjuman, to answer that for you, uh, I think we all have an inherent way of seeing of our own, and don't make the mistake I did for many years, that isko kaun dekhega bol ke shoot nahi kiya. Please, we are in a digital world today. Shoot everything you can. Whatever you see, just respond to it. Shoot it. You don't know what it's going to become. Don't go to think. For the longest time I wanted to put a wide angle lens and become Swapan Parekh. No, you can't become iconic. You can't set out to make an iconic image. Images become that in retrospect. So just shoot. If you're seeing something, have faith in your seeing and just shoot. There is something there, and that something is unique to you. Nobody else can shoot that. So shoot. Just shoot everything. Whatever you think is unique to you, shoot it. Don't feel bashful about it. कि यार नहीं यार इसको कौन देखेगा? Don't do that.
I believe one of the panelists wanted to come in.
Summer,
Bring in
Summer wanted to
Summer,
say.
Summer, can I bring in Summer, please?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, hi. I mean,
Hi,
man,
Samar.
hi. Two things. One was, there was such a beautiful tribute to the legend, to Ashok Mehta. I think the man had so many things around him, and you actually captured him in his own silence, which
Yeah.
because I was fortunate at one point of time, I met him. I still remember when we talk about fearless. My God, I don't think there was anybody as fearless. This man, he would pick up the camera. I remember there was a shoot for contract advertising early 90s. There were these horses. It was, I think, for some condom manufacturer.
Charminar cigarettes.
Was it? Or
Was
it was
it
a condom thing.
in
So
Ladakh?
no, this was in Bombay on the beach. And what he did was he picked up the camera. He didn't want to wait for anybody around. He just put it on his shoulder and he just ran with the horses coming towards him. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah.
couldn't believe, he and me never had, because we have very different platforms. I used to do advertising that time. But what I really loved about the man was that he was interested in everybody's life. It was not about
Absolutely.
all the time. He was like so and genuinely interested. He'll get tea, he'll sit there, then there'll be a call and come back again and start talking to you. So I think that's really beautiful. I've never seen any of these images, and it was just so beautiful to relive that time, which was about 30 years back when I met him. But Amit, what I want to talk about, just an observation with your work, and more than any, commercial work, as we all know, there's no sticker behind it, who shot what. So, but when you see, personal work, it really reflects. And I must say that, usually what happens is when you see somebody's work or you meet the person, that they come from that profession, photographer, obvious writer, obvious filmmaker, obvious whatever. But when I look at your work, it really, you can be anything. You live such a personal life and so many interests, that monkey story is just so brilliant. About on the watching. It's not just watching cinema, but this entire experience, as Raj said, on the outside world, which what makes Indian cinema so unique, or at least used to before we got into digital space. But I think your whole observation is such that you, as a man, can fit into, as a writer, as a filmmaker, as a photographer, and so many different things. So thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you, Samar. Those are very kind words. To Samit, Gulzar Saab wrote a line in one of the songs he wrote, which yesterday, as I was thinking about how can I describe what I do, where does it come from? And that line from one of his songs really resonated in my head, and it was a part of both the antras, and it went like this. He says, "Gale laga ke zindagi ne हैरान कर दिया." So when life embraces you, it shocks you, and you want to completely respond to it. Then the next antra is "मुस्कुरा के जिंदगी ने हैरान कर दिया." So if life smiles at you like that, you have to smile back. So thank you, Samar, for the lovely word.
Thanks
Very
very
kind of you.
Can I say something?
Sure,
Right.
please.
So Amit, it's surprising that we've never met, but we've been in
Yeah,
touch with each other for some time now for strange reasons.
Yes.
Without even meeting actually each other. But what a journey, and I'm so glad that you gave that tribute to Ashok Mehta, which was so beautiful. I was very fortunate to be with him for almost a month in Alaska, in America, and we traveled together. And he helped me so much. He used to make me sit in front of the tripod and ask me.
Pukar. This was Pukar.
This was Pukar for
Yeah.
Madhuri Kapoor, and so it was amazing. And while coming back, I had these films and I was alone. That time there were no assistants. I'm talking about 90, 99, 98, 99. And he said, "You give me your film bag," because the film bags, they used to take it through the X-ray, and I was not very keen to give the film bag.
Yeah.
So he used to carry. He said, "You give it to me," and then he used to tell Madhuri to carry the bags, all the film bags, with her. So it was mind blowing. He was, as someone said,
he looked out for everyone. Yeah.
He used to just sit, have coffee together, and he used to. I remember if he's making coffee for himself, he'll make for somebody else also. He was just a great guy. But I want to talk about this amazing calmness you have and the stillness you have in your being, which so beautifully reflects in your images. It looks like that universe is just talking through you. It's beautiful the way you can see things, and I understand that in the very beginning, you've already clarified that, but in the very beginning that you wanted to shoot images like Swapan, and we all wanted to do that. When we were young, we all wanted to shoot images like Swapan. But you're not like him or others, and that is your power, man. That is your power. You're so unique and special. The way you see images is so beautiful. I mean,
Thank you, Tarun.
Normally, which will just pass through, everybody's eyes. You just see something special in that. You make the ordinary look very extraordinary. Great work.
Thank you
for sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very kind words.
Thank you, Tarun. Can I bring on Raghav next?
Yeah, sure. Raghav, go ahead.
Hi, Amit, and
first of all, let me wish you a belated, very, very happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
I'm a few days late.
Thank you. I wanted to say that, thank you so much for sharing what is really beautiful work. I was struck by a few things and I had a question. It's an extraordinary number of images that have either you reflected or your shadow, or as a metaphor, or as Raj called it, a visual pun, which shows a side of you, which puts together a piece of the puzzle that is Amit Ashar. I have never had the fortune of meeting you, and yet at the end of the work that you showed, I feel that I know you rather intimately and rather well, actually. Through your conversation, you speak with such extraordinary warmth about these people and places. I wanted to ask, would you consider putting together, the work across the three areas, or perhaps more, that you've shown as an exquisite self-portrait? Because to see yourself and not have a sense of self, not have an arrogance about you that this is me, and to see your reflection in the grandest monument in the world, but and yet to see something that you love and to be at that distance and say, this is what I love and this is what makes me. I mean, I haven't encountered that in other work, and I would really, urge you and ask you, would you ever consider putting together a self-portrait of Amit Ashar through your work?
That's a very nicely put um, way to show all my work together. It's such a nice thing that you say that it reflects as a portrait. All my work reflects as a portrait of me. So again, and speaking of puns, while you were talking, I just thought of something. स्वपन बनने को चला था, अपनापन हो गया.
I think I'll have to be Manoj Kumar today. I'd like to sit like this.
Yeah, but it's a very nice thought, self-portrait. Because I don't have words otherwise, or I don't know what name and what genre to give to my work, to my musings, I should say, not even my work. It's not my work, it's my musings. It's my, it's the whispers and nudges that I get from the world around. It's a line from Mr. Raya's book.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Raghav.
Thank you, Raghav.
Raj,
Wait, I hope I didn't interrupt one of you there. I'm sorry.
Raj, this is
network
Anil.
shaking. Yes. Hi. Sorry, Anil sir. Hi.
Yeah. So just actually, I missed paying my tribute to Ashok Mehta yesterday. So I'm using this opportunity because the images that Amit showed actually, for me also are quite moving. In the sense that I got to know the man when I first came to Bombay. I was also really chasing him, just like Ijazat was to Amit, 36 Chaurangi was to me.
Yes.
And that sort of made me, want to meet this person. And when I met him, of course, like everyone knows, he was a very warm and welcoming person. I never got a chance to work with him, which is what I wanted really to do. Really wanted to work with him. And I remember being on Utsav sets, which were massive. And I could see that this man was a kind of maverick, kind of an inventor, kind of, rolled into one.
You saw those walls moving.
Yeah,
And
I saw those. I was on that set when I saw the walls moving and the contraption that he had built to move the camera. So I realized that I was here meeting somebody who was more than just a cinematographer. We kept in, I kept in touch with him, and then almost to his last days. So it's been a bit of a moving thing for me to see his images once more, because Amit and Amit has shared these images with me before. The thing I wanted to say, I think Raj brought it up also. What I did miss was this really flamboyant, kind of a, how should I say it, a guy who did everything on set, that energy. So you have the brooding images. Then you spoke about the fact that you do have a whole bunch of images of Ashokji in which he is at work and which all his, power shows.
Yeah. From pictures of him on his own film set.
Wow. Yeah, that was also
from
that
Moksha,
also he spent a very long time on making, and he was.
Oh yeah.
He gave everything to that film also. I know that.
Everything. He would shoot a couple of commercials. Whatever money came out of that, he would add so many stories. Yeah.
So there's an incredible story there, which has a lot of resonance in my mind space also. So the question is, when is the book out? Means like
soon. Even if I am looking to, there's a small gap, because I want the story of his life, which is very important to tell, to be able to tell about the man. There's one area of his life when he stepped out of the train at the other station coming to Bombay. I'm not finding anybody to give me an insight to that part of his life. The little that I know about it is from Ashokji himself. But what happened then and where that led out into the film world from is the one link I'm looking for. If I don't find it, I'll skip it and I'll move on. But yes, soon now. We have a lot of wonderful writings about him, and from
Yeah, which is,
people who've
I mean,
been
I don't
touched
know,
by
it's
him.
a bit of a selfish interest, but I think a book on a Indian cinematographer and Ashok Mehta is clearly overdue, and your work with him is quite incredible. So just wanted to.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, I think
Soon.
that's such an important thought from Anil sir, because it's time that the people who are beyond the actors and the actresses and the directors are spoken of as well. As Anil sir said 2 days ago, cinema is such a collaborative medium, and there are so many aspects to it. And your pictures of Ashok Mehta and your stories that you've told me, so many that we do not have the time for all of them over here. Those are important for people to see. Those are really important for people to see.
Yeah, the stories of the man, the giant.
So I know I've sort of on an earlier at an earlier point in time also tried to pitch in and say, okay, let's make it happen. I'm saying it again, and this time maybe one will have more time, and we should put the resources together to make this happen.
Done.
We have it on
Done.
record.
We have it on record.
अनिल जी
Now
मैं
I have no excuse.
No
अनिल जी मैं
excuses.
आके बताता हूँ इसके बारे में कुछ.
हाँ, बिल्कुल.
We'll talk about this book only.
We
Amit,
have
can I bring you on after 1 minute? We have
No, not now. Later.
one participant.
And one
Yeah.
participant is asking if we can speak in Hindi. I could just see.
Hindi, huh?
Okay. We have a participant who wants to come on and ask a question. Devang, can you usher the participant in?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
वाह पंडित होता है ऐसा.
You got to say Ashar, huh?
हाँ.
That's the third time I've said it, yeah.
That's why he
I
managed
think
to.
that somebody would notice.
One.
Devang, are we ready?
Ay.
ओए, can't see her.
बोलती बंद हो गई.
Bandwidth is low.
Bandwidth is low. Tell her to come.
Now,
Better, I can now.
can you see me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Of course.
You're overexposed.
Okay, now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, correctly exposed.
Okay. Here's my question. I have the good fortune of enjoying a bottle of Lafroig, listening to R.D. Berman, and being gently introduced in the direction of visual literacy by you one rainy evening 10 years ago. But I also do understand as an artist, you cannot be your own patron, or you cannot underline the meaning behind your imagery. However, having made that journey towards your crazy way of alternate seeing, I wish this nudge could be available to all people at various stages of understanding. How could someone else also make themselves available to these nudges? Is my question.
From a
When I
wife.
say this, I'm telling you, maybe what my mother says is to keep तू कहीं और रहता है. I don't know if that is what is true or just being an escapist from the real world and looking at all these little things, being riveted by all these little. Bhavna, you know that more than anybody else. I'm a
Make
dangerous
answer
drug.
it. Your dinner depends on it today.
That I've been getting very good dinner. Very. But you've been privy to the fact that when I drive, I can never concentrate on the road because something or the other keeps catching my attention.
Yes, that is why I drive.
Correct. So, and I drive you up the wall. So,
yes.
So, yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. It's just, I guess the answer I got was from that line of Gulzar Saab's मुस्कुरा के जिंदगी ने हैरान कर दिया. So when you're so heranified by something, you are obviously connected with it. So then you see those things. I don't know how. I would like to ask Swapan that question because he sees way deeper. I see these small quirky things, fine, but he sees way beyond that.
But your
Kya
imagery
kare?
is kind of a gateway towards maybe his level of sensitivity and sensibility. So for me it was helpful that it could grow from time to time. And of course Swapan is the next level of it, because there won't be happening, there'll be certain things happening at in one moment, and only he has that capability to capture it. But at this moment I just like to say thank you, F.Stop. At the beginning of this I was really pissed off because I anyways listen to photography at least 12 hours out of 24, and I was like, I can do without 2 more hours. But thank you, this has been such a university, this has been such a learning. It has been so fruitful to just hang around in the background and butt into all the conversations Amit has been having, and then get a review of it in the night when we catch up. Thank you, F.Stop, for doing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I can say that you are not the only one who's pissed off.
All spouses, huh? Part 3 is going to be spouses unlimited.
Next level hoga.
She's been counting days for the last few days. Acha 28 ke baad se I'm going to hand over everything to you, then I'll start going for my walks.
Wait, Devang hasn't spoken about season 3 yet?
That was a surprise, Raj. Come on.
Anyway.
सब कुछ डालो मोदी जी के सर पे, बेचारे पूरे देश का भार उठा के चल रहे हैं.
Okay, if I can just come back in. Amit, what Bhavna said was quite lovely. It came across
Very
as
lovely.
somebody who knows you, but also knows the importance of inspiration in art, because the last bit was not very clear, but I just want to repeat something so that everyone can hear it. That I wish this nudge could be available to all people at various stages of understanding. I want to ask you, how do you think other people, and when I say other people, I especially mean younger photographers, people who are just started in their journey, whether they're doing, whatever, commercial photography, journalism, whatever it may be. How do you think other people can discover these various kinds of nudges, these various kinds of inspiration?
Yeah, I think
what would advice be?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think everybody has a way of seeing. Everybody has a way of seeing which is unique to them. It's just that everybody, most people want to be someone else. They want to be another Kandar, or they want to be a Swapan Parekh, or they want to be. The minute you figure out that you have done something which you have liked, the minute you get a proper, serious, honest validation from yourself, you start believing in what you are doing and seeing. Till then, you say, "नहीं यार, मैं जो देखता हूँ, तो ये crack चीजें हैं यार, कौन देखेगा इसको? क्यों shoot करना?" But you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in what you see is unique to you. So shoot everything. Just shoot, and you don't have to go out to shoot. There's something to shoot everywhere. If you keep looking at them, I mean, there's something happening everywhere. Shoot. घर पे बैठे हो, बंद हो, शूट करो. आजकल फोन आ गए, शूट करो यार. Shoot karo. Enjoy the pleasure of shooting. It keeps you away from the drudgeries of life also. It's a great escape.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Can I move to...
Thank you, Amit. Thank you, F.Stop.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pawan has a question. Can I move to Pawan?
Yes. Pawan, can you go ahead with your question?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Pawan. Yeah.
Hi, sir. How are you? And
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Thank you so much. Your session was really amazing. I was doing my office work, and it is actually inspiring in this work from home situation to do it. And thank you, F.Stop, because this is the last day. I want to really thank you for bringing in so many eminent photographers and cinematographers today. So without further ado, I would like to ask Amit sir, could you actually, because Rang De Basanti poster is an iconic image, it still plays in my mind even till day. So I just want to know the process of creating it. Was it like there was a brief given to you and you shot it, or was it like a candid image, or what was the process and what is your experience in taking that picture?
It was a moment in the film, and yes, the director of the film, Rakesh Mehra, is a very very dear friend of mine, and I kind of I we do understand one another, and there's great regard and respect for what both of us do in the other's heart and mind. So when it comes to when I'm on a film set for any of Rakesh's films, I know that trying something which you think may be a relevant way to do something will be heard well, because he has that regard and respect for me. So shooting a picture like this, I knew that this film was about four friends, and it wasn't about a particular actor or anything of that sort. It was a film about four friends, and the feeling of freedom was very essential. So when this was a moment in the film, and because I was there, I shot it. As you say, the rest is history. But it's important what happens with a lot of people who are on film set. They will not shoot an image with four people's backs towards them. He's saying, "यार actor की शक्ल नहीं दिख रही, कौन लेगा इसको? क्या करेंगे? It will be just a waste. तो shoot ही नहीं करना." So, but don't do that. Don't do things like that. Think where it could go. If you're connected with the film, you're connected with the script, the thought of the film, the feeling that the film is supposed to convey to people, then you will find those pockets and little pockets of magic happening where you will be able to. Other than me, anybody there could have shot that same image. It's about shooting, believing an image with four people's backs towards you. It's important to see otherwise also, Don't just think shakal shoot karo, फिर मैं film fare को बेचूंगा, इसको बेचूंगा, वो करूंगा. Don't think like that. Think for the film.
Thank you, Amit. Can I bring Parag online? Can I bring Parag Gopali online?
Yes. Yeah, Parag, go on.
Hi, Amit.
Hi, Parag.
Wonderful to see this work. And just today morning, I was looking at Alex Soth sleeping by the Mississippi, and your work has a very happy kind of a reflection of yourself. So my question is related that how do you consciously reflect your personal mood or the state of mind in photographs, or are you naturally attracted over the period of time to certain things that say aaj subah main utha aur mujhe aaj aise lag raha hai, so I'm going to go and capture that. Does your mood, is it like a magnet that it attracts you to, or how do you consciously translate it into photographs?
I don't consciously try. As Raj, actually, I will. Raj should reply to this better, because what he wrote as my introduction told me a lot more about myself. And Raj beautifully put it that when he's not looking for images, images look for him, which is the truth. I mean, when I see something, there have been times when I don't have a camera, and I have had to either look around if there is a camera on someone and take a picture. Several times it's been Raj's camera, or if there's an image I've seen which I think is going to remain there, then there have been instances when I've taken a cab, gone, got a camera, come and made the image. So
you bookmark it in your mind.
sometimes they are there to be bookmarked. Otherwise, now we have no excuse. We have phones. So no excuse not to make the image. Make the image. Shoot. Don't shy away from what you see. These are little, as again Raisa beautifully, Raghu Raisa sir beautifully said, बाहर निकलते हैं तो नज़ारा आपको हेलो कहता है, तो आपको भी उसको हेलो कहना जरूरी है ना. खींचिए तस्वीर, हेलो कहिए उसको. तो if you see, just shoot. Don't shy away from it. It's your seeing. It's individual to you. It is original. It is unique. Nobody else is going to see like that. So believe in what you see.
Thank you.
It takes a while. It takes a while, but believe. Stay at it. You will turn that corner and have that eureka moment.
Thank you so much.
If I was to say, may I, Raj, just 2 seconds? To me, this is like, stream of consciousness writing. It's not, thinking, you're just, you're reacting, you're feeling. And I really believe in this thing of, the universe reaching out to you, and you are fluent in photography, you speak with photography. And that's your way of that's where you
so truly put, Dinesh. So correctly put. Yeah.
It's so simple. Actually, there's no thought. It's only
there
feeling.
Is no thought. Yeah.
Feeling. Yeah, that's it.
It's one conversation I can have with no arguments coming to me.
Yeah.
No. So nicely put.
I think the beauty of that really is that there is no thought. I mean, why should there be thought in all photographs?
Yeah.
No, why can't it just be a visual? It's if you think of photography as a language, then this is how you speak it. And
yes.
Amit speaks it so fluently,
Thank
yet
you,
so
Dinesh,
softly, yet so lyrically. But that's his style. Someone else's could be something else. But just speak with photography. Speak.
Yeah, it's your language. It's the language we found as our expression.
Absolutely.
We may not have as many words, but
lovely. So I just love those photographs, and they are so you. And like anyone else's would be theirs. I think that's really the lesson as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
And the other thing, I love the word serendipity, and I've always said, people say, oh, he was lucky to find that picture. No, there's this goddess called serendipity, and she only appears for people who go seeking her. That's it.
That's so beautifully put.
Again.
That's so beautifully put.
So beautifully put, Dinesh.
I will say one thing. Whenever I am irritated about something or angry about something or upset about something, I call up Amit or I visit him, and you realize that he's always cheerful, first of all. But more than that, I think there isn't one child in his house right now. There are 2 children, because he's somebody who is utterly fascinated by the entire world around him. Whether it's the next, a new stock of whiskey or coffee, or whether it's Lee Friedlander's self-portraits, or whether it's a picture that he saw of Prabhudo, which he really wants to talk about. He is constantly fascinated by people. I mean, the sheer number of photographers my age I have discovered because Amit has told me, listen, you need to see this one's work. You need to see that one's work. Bikramjeet is doing some great stuff. This one's doing some great stuff, because he's always fascinated without egos, without any insecurities. And I think that really reflects in his pictures, especially in Phenomenal Magic of the Ordinary, where to even see the kind of whether you want to call them visual puns or serendipities or whatever, the fact that there is one bulb which is switched off and one bulb that is switched on, or the fact that all of those images, the palace being carried away by the truck, are through a child's eye who's fascinated by something, and who almost is not just seeing what he's seeing, but he's also imagining it to be something else. And that's why he's drawn to these moments. At least that's what I guess, both as a fellow photographer, but also as a friend. That's what I've sensed.
Yes, you're right about that. It's very fascinating. The whole world is so fascinating. There's so much there which you enjoy looking at, enjoy seeing, enjoy experiencing. So I can't seem to find
Amit,
anything.
I have one question though. So, you've spoken a lot about someone like Swapan or someone like Ashok Mehta in this entire talk. Uh, a lot of us are visually inspired by photographers or filmmakers who we've never met. Who remain this far off concept for us. Like somebody will be in love with I don't know, Kurosawa, or somebody will be in love with Satyajit Ray, somebody will be in love with Saul Leiter, and not have met them. uh, the fact that you are emotionally so close to someone who you've called your favorite photographer and somebody who's also probably been the most inspirational person for you in cinema, uh, Ashok sir, how has that changed the way you look at their art? Does it I don't know, make you understand their process a little better? Does it demystify things for you? And does it sometimes come in the way? Sometimes does it come in the way of you being able to appreciate their art?
No, it doesn't get in the way of appreciating their art at all, because their art is so great that there is nothing that can not make you appreciate it. No matter what you say, no matter what people with egos may say, कि नहीं यार वो क्या है, कुछ नहीं है. But in the heart of hearts, you cannot not appreciate Swapan's work or Ashok's work. You cannot. It's not possible. It is the beautiful work. So these two people are huge influences on me. Absolutely. Before this, I used to love looking at pictures by Gautam Rajadhyaksha, because Filmfare was the only medium available where we could see pictures of our favorite actor. And I always enjoyed Gautam's work because Gautam somehow always managed to, despite the glamour and everything, he always managed to bring out a person. That's something from a person. Each subject dropped their guard a little for Gautam Rajadhyaksha, and that was unique to his images. Other than the fact that people say the use of the soft focus lens and all, no, the more than the soft focus lens, it was the ability to get under somebody's skin and make them reveal that much more of themselves, is what I thought Gautam was really good with. So that, and my first proper trace with I used to try and see a lot of fashion photography, but when I saw Prabhudeva's work, I saw a difference to fashion photography for the first time. I said, here is an Indian who's not trying to be a Western. He's not trying to be one of those. He is proudly showcasing an Indian style, an Indian skin tone, an Indian body language. And there was a beautiful languid quality to his work, which really, actually, I remember this when I was working for Sanjeev. There was a series of postcards that had been sent from, I think, Ensemble, Tarun Tailiani's Ensemble. And those beautiful sepia tone, black and white sepia tone images. And Sanjeev tells me, see, this is fashion photography. I looked at them and I was bored, like, beautiful. So he says, find out who's shot this. And I set about to finding out, and the name Prabhudev Dasgupta appeared for the first time. And I started then following more of his work. And yeah, he's another wonderful. And then I got to meet him once, and he played the guitar beautifully. Wow, that was a double whammy. There was somebody's guitar lying there, and he said, may I, with your permission? And I thought he would just try and do some strumming, like I always try and pick up a guitar, somebody else's guitar, and without knowing a single chord, I try and play something. It feels great in your hand, like a huge telephoto lens does too. So, but then Prabhudev started playing the blues like a dream. He played the guitar beautifully. So, quite a all
And probably sang a Leonard Cohen song.
Yes, he did. It was something about drinking a whole bottle in a night to give up alcohol. I remember the song he sang.
That's lovely. You know, the reason I also asked is because I think, though I've been a moderator on so many of these talks and I've spoken myself, I think a lot of the learning that I have gained, and I hope I'm also speaking on behalf of a lot of the participants, is not just by looking at the work of all the people who've spoken on this platform, but also in the subtlest of things that they've said, which might not be related to photography. Which
Yes, it is.
has
I
been more
think
about
photography is more
personality.
related to life.
Yeah.
It's such an insight. And everybody's opinion is right because it's their unique opinion and their own unique way of seeing and doing things.
Can I take a cue from here?
क्यों नहीं क्यों नहीं
Finally, सुन के मेरा नाम पक गया मैं.
You were waiting for you to be assured, but now you have to take a cue.
Yeah. Now,
wow.
Floodgates will open because, you know, if we have to just, like Raj said, if we have to sum up what happened in the last 30 days and we have to give it a face, then probably it would be something like Amit Ashar's face. Everything was about the lessons of life, and the greater lesson, at least for me, and probably for many others over here, would be that it's all about the heart. It's all about the heart. And in today's world, we may think it's how about you showcase how you showcase yourself, how you package yourself. But in reality, it's how you unpack yourself, how you unravel yourself, and keep your heart on a platter for everyone to see, and displayed and exposed and feel. Everyone knows a clogged heart is disastrous, right? You got to keep those arteries flowing. Dil ki nadiyan should be absolutely open for everyone to just see what you have in there. And in turn, maybe the lesson is that, you know, if you be a better human being, we're all going to be a far better photographer in the long run. And to further just add one thing is, you know, you'd rather have those 4 friends like these who show you your true north, rather than have 40,000 people telling you and leading you into believing in the illusion of success. So to me, I think this finale is all about a huge sea change in all of us. And I think no one better than Amit to really, you know, give it a face. And I didn't know what I was going to say today. So I was awake till 4 o'clock day before night. And there's just something I just want to share. And before I choke, you know, just see it, because it's something which I think for me, it's a life's lesson. So if we could just, you know, see what I'm trying to say rather than me saying it.
Oh man.
Oh man. around करिए मैं hug देने के लिए. Social distancing be damned, Swapan. I'm coming home right now. What was this?
यार इसकी नसीब का मैं भी खा रही हूँ कुछ तो. I don't know how. What luck. I mean, what I've done in life too.
Wow.
Thank you for being in my life, Amit.
I forced myself into it. I had to have that influence and inspiration. तो यार तुमने बोलती बंद कर. What to say now?
अरे दूसरों को अनम्यूट करो बस.
हाँ हम म्यूट हो जाते हैं. हम तो म्यूट हो गए. Thank you, Swapan.
Arey, thank you. And all these guys who made this last 30 days something else, man.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
This is a tribute to all of them.
To all those people out there looking for questions, answers to what the world of photography has in store for you, the world of photography, the world of visual making, cinematography, photography, filmmaking, whatever. I think just go through all these talks and you will find so many answers. You will find one answer from every direction, but the answer to one question, but from 20 directions you will find. It's up to you to pick whichever one you want. These talks have been so beautiful and so enriching for everyone. I think it's been really, again, Devang, Ashok, Vinay.
मेरे को unmute करो बहुत चुप बेटा. Ashok.
Thank you all.
Everybody is unmuted, but nobody has anything more to say. So
What can we say? Truly amazing.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's this.
And Swapan has put me through this 3 times today. Okay.
What? And you didn't reveal the slightest bit to me, Palace.
How could I? How could I?
I see band baji hai meri.
Thank you so much, guys. I think this is amazing. Even without the lockdown, I would want to be locked down and have this session for a month. It's been so wonderful, fantastic.
It's been amazing. So much each one of us has learned,
Yeah, each one of us learned a lot.
Photography तो कोई भी सीख लेगा ना, पर जीना, life lessons are. You got to live.
होता क्या है कि जब रात को 3 बजे ना, when you are feeling low in life, और कोई ऐसा दोस्त होता है जिसको आप फोन करते और जितना बोलना होता है बोल देते, सब कुछ निकाल देते और वो चुपचाप सुनता है. वो आपकी सारी जिंदगी सुनता है क्योंकि he knows you inside out. तो अक्सर कई बार ऐसा हुआ कि अशर को फोन घुमाया, कर दिया, सब कुछ निकाल दिया. बिकॉज एक ऐसा दोस्त है जो कभी आपको
भाई कहावत है ऐसों के लिए, तुम जैसे स्वपन जैसे, with friends like you who needs an enema.
Big joke.
एक ऐसा दोस्त है जो आपको कभी जज नहीं करता, और जब आप सारी बात कर देते हो उससे, तो वो एक ही बात बोलता है हर बार कि साले तुम पागल हो.
हाँ, क्योंकि जजमेंटल होता है ना, मेंटल भी तो होता
पागल
है।
हो और सुबह के 4 बज गए, गाड़ी निकालो, बाहर जाओ, लोधी गार्डन में जॉग करो, सब ठीक हो जाएगा।
पापा जी की करा, पेट्रोल खत्म ही नहीं होता।
I may add something to this, please.
Please.
I was just thinking that photography or any creative profession, there is this whole stigma or perception of living that life of creativity, whether it's success or whether it's awards or money and war stories and all that stuff. But at one level, creativity is a very lonely space, and it's a very emotional space. And I think we all have that. Of course, we have support system of friends and family and all that stuff. But I think it's a very, because the emptiness is probably the reason why we speak very differently and don't speak in this very logical mathematics way or whatever you want to call it, left brain or something.
Yeah.
And I think to me, I was talking to a couple of people who've been following this for past 1 month, and the key to this is that you may have, it's so easy to see people's work on internet. If you are a fan of that photographer, you may be following that person's work. You might have met the person, but these, each time when we have these couple of hours of deconstruct of the person, I think that is, as Swapan said, that it's a larger life lessons, which is what, because I remember as when I was a young photographer, I would go and see big photographers anywhere in the world. I would see the exhibition, I read a little note, which would be with all the war stories, how long it's going to be, all that stuff. But that you sit across and you watch somebody speak that person's heart, the entire journey. I mean, it's like somebody just said that, each time, I think Amit, you said that each time you want to learn something, just come to this platform and you've got these dozens of stories of people of how the process, because nobody cares about the pictures. Okay, picture is given fact, but it's the process. And I think for young people, it is just like a gold mine for inspiration and to see what each of, and I don't mean just limited. I'm hoping they will have season 3 and 4 and many more.
Yes, this should go on. I think I have a very good idea. The F.Stop should look at creating a festival of photography, like film festivals happen. I kid you not, if there's anybody who can do this, it's you guys.
And Anilji, I have a request. Can you get Anilji, please?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Can you just back him? For the reason, I'll tell you why. अब मैं आपको असलियत बताता हूँ. वो जो बुक की आप बात कर रहे थे ना, मैं 4 साल से इसके पीछे पड़ा हुआ हूँ. ये भागेगा अब यहाँ से. और ये 4 साल से दुनिया भर की बातें करता है, दुनिया भर की बहाने बनाता है कि हम पावना चलेंगे वहां पे जाके. आज तक एक नेगेटिव स्कैन नहीं करा इसने. स्कैनर भी आ गया है, ये भी हो गया है, वो भी हो गया है, सब हो गया है, कुछ नहीं आया. और ये जो स्टोरी बता रहा था ना अभी कि वो फर्स्ट एक उनका लाइफ का एपिसोड है, ये सिर्फ आपको तसल्ली दे रहा था अभी. आई जस्ट वांट यू राइट नाउ टू टेल हिम द डेट. ये
मैं बोल रहा हूँ with friends like you who needs an enema.
No, I'm actually committing to it, Amit, and I'm saying that I will now be the person driving him also. So
मैं तो थक गया हूँ उसको बोल.
I'm also on the line now.
मैंने इसको बोला पावना चलते हैं, नेगेटिव लेके चलते हैं, वहाँ स्कैन करेंगे, पूरी बुक स्कैन करके वहीं बैठ के बनाएंगे. लेकिन
कब आ रहे हो?
अब आ रहे हो, हिल नहीं सकते अभी कोई, अब आ रहे हो.
Hey guys, I also just wanted to say that it's really been a privilege being in this room, and I mean, it's not, I can't really explain the feeling, but many people have already spoken about it. So it's a very precious and a very special space, and I'm happy that I really came in here in this. And actually, one more time, it was Amit who actually brought me on. So yeah, I'm really, really privileged, and I feel like I suddenly belong to a new group of friends who most of whom I've never met. Yeah.
How lovely. And we shall, as soon as this lockdown is over, I think we should all meet, and we have a lot of stories to tell and hear.
And Swapan will make drinks for everyone with some Shabaz and Lafayette Tarka.
So there are 100 in the room.
कमी पीता इसलिए मेरे वहाँ तो पड़ी रहती है. Shall be most welcome.
There are 100 in the room.
Mehta ji, there are 100 in the room. Don't say.
The organizers from Gujarat.
And we are still live on YouTube.
What? Okay, I don't really know what to say. I just want to go to if any of the panelists want to speak, because after that we have something else. Can I bring on any of the panelists?
मैं तो बोलूंगा नहीं अब ज्यादा कुछ, क्योंकि आवाज निकलेगी नहीं और फिर गड़बड़ हो जाएगी.
तो आज तो बोलना ही पड़ेगा.
आज नदियाँ बह रही है.
ये सिलसिला तो तूने शुरू किया था ना.
But I can tell this much that I remember Amit मेरे को मैसेज भेजता है. मैं कभी अमित से मिला नहीं. That's my bad luck. But पिछले कुछ टाइम से हम लोग किसी मैसेज के थ्रू जुड़े हुए हैं. I don't know whether he's felt this or not, but जब मैं इसका मैसेज देखता हूँ तो नॉर्मली जब कोई पहली बार आपसे कनेक्ट होता है तो आप उतना सीरियसली नहीं लेते हो उसको, या फिर आप ठीक है, बिकॉज आज की दुनिया में हमारे पास इतने मैसेजेस आते हैं कि दिन में, कभी व्हाट्सएप और इतने मीडियम्स हैं, और व्हाट्सएप है और SMS है, एंड देन देयर इज मैसेंजर, एंड देन एंड दिस गाय जस्ट सेंड्स मैसेज एज इफ कि ये को मेरे को बचपन से जानता है, और उसका लहजा लिखाई का ऐसा है जैसे कि बोल दिया ये करना है आपको, है ना, ये है, ये काम है और ये करना है आपको, इस तरह से. So he's a great personality of, I don't know how he thinks that if he'll say, the other person will listen and do it also. And then I was surprised and I said, okay, fine, let me, and from my heart, I'm telling you this, it's just that the way he says it, it just goes straight to your heart, and you'll have to listen to him. You just cannot ignore his message. These are simple messages.
But one feels that.
Let me complete, please. Like his photography, which you think that it's simple, it's. But then, how did you miss it? How can you miss? Crack आता है वो कार के साथ जुड़ जाता है. He knows how to penetrate. He knows how to penetrate to your heart, and he knows how to think, and he knows how to say it in such a way that if I'll say, the other person will listen. That's the beauty in him. That makes him really unique.
Thank you.
He said, "Zindagi ne Gulzar Saab said, Zindagi ne gale laga ke हैरान कर दिया." I would rather say, Ashar ने गले लगा के हैरान कर दिया.
अरे यार, तुम लोग conscious हो जाऊंगा. But Tarun, it came instinctively, somehow following your work. It was a very instinctive thing कि मुझे लगा कि मैं बोल सकता हूँ, इसलिए ये इंस्टिंक्ट होती है, हर किसी में होती है, और वो इंस्टिंक्ट आई और मैंने जिस तरह से लिखा, and you responded accordingly.
मुझे कैमरे से हटाओ यार, मेरे को समझ.
फिर तुम एनीमा भी तो लेते हो ना?
किससे कर?
Devang? You said a very nice thing, but just one small little answer to that, probably is the answer, is that, you said that kyun nahi dekha? It's like sometimes life is what happens when you're busy doing other things.
Yes. That is always.
Very well said. Like, life is what happens when you're busy. It's a saying from somewhere else, but I just thought it's so appropriate.
Life is what happens to you when you're making other plans.
When you're busy doing other things.
Line from a song.
Yeah, John Lennon, I think.
And Amit's favorite thing, he defines jealousy very beautifully.
Yeah.
That definition. So a lot of heartbreaks that really work very well.
Yeah. It's the fun you think they're having. So it's all in your mind. Heady. ये आ गई.
Oh, heroine.
ये आ गई. क्या मिला बंदर.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna
announce the next schedule.
You have nothing, no other slide to show.
सब मोदी जी के हाथ में है सर, सब मोदी जी के हाथ में।
देखिए ये हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर बोल चुके हैं।
अमित शाह बोल रहे हैं।
Let's do a 3 cheers now before he says something.
Oh yes.
Okay, before that we have something. Devang has some.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we'll just. I want to say thanks, Raj. Thanks for beautifully once again this session. And as usual, you kind of bring out the best of in all of us. So yeah, thank you once again, Raj. And thank you, Amito. Thank you for this wonderful session.
Thank you.
So beautiful of you to do this today. So fortunate of all of us to be a part of this session today. You really there's no better way we could have ended season 2 today. No other better way. Absolutely.
Thank you guys. You guys made it all happen. The vibe and the energy that you guys have put in. What is driving everyone?
Yeah. No, I think it was wonderful.
To
Just to kind of recap. So between season 1 and season 2, we had 31 sessions and we literally had to count them. Okay, so go back and count those sessions, and that's just the sessions between all of us here. Apart from that, we had these breakout sessions with PCJ and Jaipur and all that was different. But between all of us, we had 31 sessions, and the impact of these sessions was, I think, so phenomenal that Amito in his starting said we have spent 2 months. So it's like, the impact is, we spent like 2 months, it's like 6 days, but yeah, we've had 31 sessions. There is audio coming from somewhere.
हो गया. I think Amit ka.
Yeah, I've just muted him temporarily. Yeah.
So there is no further numbers to share because we've got so much of love, appreciation, and lots and lots of comments and lots of emails. We've got messages. So we're not going to recount any of those right now. But I would just like to bring on 2 people who've been part of this series all throughout. They have not slept even one afternoon, which was their normal routine. So I'm just going to bring Mukesh Bhai and Swati Ben. They are, of course, husband and wife, very good friends, long time into photography with all of us. So let me just start with Swati Ben first.
And Devang, I'd just like to add, the beauty has been both of them have been logging on in the same house with different machines saying that we need our own spaces to listen in peace.
That is right.
So Swati Ben, we are not accepting any cover.
Ben ko bajo pe rakho. Only Swati.
So what I was saying is we are not accepting any covers or any bouquets. So please, without that.
Yeah. Yeah, that I know. I know. सबसे पहले आशीष देवा और thanks a lot.
Thank you.
दोनों. I don't have more words to say about. सपन ने जैसे बोला कि it's a really eye-opening and life-learning session. Though I am not good in photography or I don't have any knowledge of photography, but I think I love 2-3 session गए होंगे और मुकेश ने insist किया, look at this, stay in this session and have a look. You will get something. So, but it was a mind-blowing session और अच्छा लगता है कि ऐसा चलता रहे. अगर लॉकडाउन खुल जाए बाद में भी, if you can, F.Stop can arrange once a month this kind of talk, लगता है जिंदगी का राह बदल जाएगा. कुछ ना कुछ तो अच्छा हो जाएगा ही. And everything, every human being needs it. जैसे बोला ना आपने कि एनिमा देना है, तो ऐसे जैसे नॉर्वेल और वो होता है, तो थोड़ा थोड़ा ऐसे लाइफ चेंजिंग होना चाहिए. So for me to hear so many photographers is the blessings. So thank you, F.Stop. Thanks a lot and keep it up. Fauzan, namaste ji.
Thank you Swati bhai, Mukesh bhai.
Yeah.
हम दोस्तों को थैंक्स और सॉरी नहीं कहते हैं. F.Stop, Devang, Asit and Vinay, I just salute. That's all. पूरा फोटोग्राफी तो हम सीख लेंगे, लेकिन सपन ने जो बताया वो ही मैं रिपीट करना चाहता हूँ कि ये पूरी सेशंस में पूरी लाइफ के इतने सारे लेसन सीखने के मिले हमें. और आई जस्ट वांट टू से, बबन सर ने बताया था कि विनय इज अ रियली वेरी बैड एक्टर. आई एग्री, पर मैं विनय के लिए मैं कहना चाहता हूँ, अगर उसको स्टार देना है तो मैं कितने स्टार दूं? इतने स्टार तो सीता गर्दिश में भी नहीं है, आकाश में भी नहीं है इतने स्टार. एज ए फ्रेंड, थैंक यू मेरी लाइफ में आने के लिए. विनय के हिसाब से मैं राय साहब को मिल सका, फौजान को मिल सका और सपन को भी मिल सका. सपन, आर यू रिमेम्बर मी?
Of course, sir. And the food, fabulous food.
Thank you. I think so. Swati Pan.
Yes, Swati man is watching, so I have to say that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you Mukesh bhai for coming every single day. We had to thank people who have come every day. I'll just quickly call in Devansh also, who's come on for almost all the 30 sessions. So thank you, Devansh, for being with us. It's just
Thank you,
F.Stop.
Thank you, F.Stop. I just wanted to say a few things about F.Stop. Basically, F.Stop was started in the days when we were, on Flickr and we were shooting Pushkar camels and sunset pictures. And Vinay, Ashit, Devang, and all of us got together and we said, let's go beyond the scope of the usual. Let's go beyond the Steve McCurrys and get in more people to come down. And that process started. We had a lot of talks coming in Ahmedabad. When I saw that these online talks were going to happen, I was actually a bit disappointed because most of the people on the list I had already heard or seen them live in one of the sessions in Ahmedabad. But when I got to the first session, I just realized by the end of today's session that in all those sessions, there used to be an audience, there used to be a stage, there used to be lights. And here there were just boxes of people around. So I think the photographers, the way they bared down themselves right to their insecurities, right down to their weaknesses and the flaws is something I would have never got in a live session by F.Stop or anyone else. More than the technical details and the the names of new photographers or anything, or film versus digital or black and white versus color, I think this was more of a masterclass of what to learn from the experience of the panelists and what to avoid from the negatives of those panelists more than anything else. So thank you, F.Stop. Thank you all the panelists for bearing down to your basics and showing us what you truly are.
Thank you. Can I say something, guys?
Yeah, you have not said anything today, or not eaten anything today, rather.
Okay. I just want to say, Mukesh and Swati, Mukesh bhai, you're so lucky that you have your wife next to you listening to this. और मेरे को देखो सर, मैं घर छोड़ के ऑफिस पे आता हूँ क्योंकि वहां मुझे एक ऐसा जूना लैपटॉप मिलता है जिसका माइक ही नहीं चलता है, तो मुझे भाग भाग के इधर आना पड़ता है सुनने के लिए. I'm glad you there's some tuning going on between the two of you.
I hope वो सुन रही हो वहाँ पे.
सुन रही है.
Fauzan, she was in hand in glove with the F.Stop guys. They planned this so that we could watch you eat.
तेरा आज फारसान गया बेटा. जा.
I'll just also call somebody.
सर खाना बहुत मांग रहे थे इसलिए ऑफिस में भेज दिया.
पहले खा लिया मैंने आज.
One last person I also want to call, Mitesh, who's also a friend of Fauzan, who's been here for almost all the talks. Thank you Mitesh for being with us.
Hi Mitesh.
Hi Mitesh.
Thank you.
Hi Mitesh.
Hi. I'm speechless. I mean, today's session was a grand finale of sorts. I've been here almost as much as I could, but the day I missed it, I've tried to go and watch it on YouTube. But I have to say that what Devansh said here, absolutely correct. We were not here discussing what lenses, what lights. We were discussing life, and what we've seen is what has made all of us watch this is the fact that we were discussing the life that all of you have led to make the images that you've made, and not gone after stereotyping of any kind of what photography meant. Everyone's journey was very individual journeys. It was not technical being here, it was more emotional. And I mean, I'm very touched by each and every presentation.
Okay, let me just introduce Mitesh here to the general crowd. He's a very big gun in Times of India. I think he's a group director for design, if I'm not mistaken, Mitesh.
I work with Feminine Filmfare as the.
He shoots so much. You
Okay,
shoot so much, and which makes so nicely.
Can I say something? I've been working with Mitesh for many years. I don't know for how long. When Marie Claire started, and Marie Claire has shut down the show, and this is way back. And I've seen him moving from one magazine to another magazine, but his sense of understanding photography is so great. The way he puts images together, the kind of in editorial, we like die to work with people like him. He's got sense of bringing images together, building up a story. He will put his point across, and then he will give you the freedom to work. He looks very young, but and of course he is young, but his sense of of aesthetics is so beautiful, especially in fashion. What all he's done from one magazine to another, it's just beautiful. He's you know right now, this person who was making a comment is I can say is a big daddy of design and aesthetics and understanding of fashion.
Lovely.
I just want to
very soon he's going to put all photographers out of business. Just mark my words.
Yes. Of course, he's a photographer as well. Yes.
Yeah, he's shooting so much.
One thing of the people who are on panel today, Fauzan, I am in Bombay because for the interview that I'd come, you'd put me up in your own house. My interview at some 2 o'clock, and I landed at his house at 6 in the morning saying, I have nowhere to go. So I'm coming to your house, and I slept over and then went for my interview. Fauzan only dropped me for my interview, and I got the job. And Tarun sir, I've said this to many of my friends, but if it wasn't you who I did my first fashion shoot with as a photographer and I was the art director, I probably would have run away from this field, because you make it very unintimidating. Fashion can get very intimidating, and I was a young art director who had only worked on news magazines till then, and coming to you and working with you made me realize that your aesthetics can be the same. Your aesthetics to make good pictures. It's not about fashion or news photography. It is aesthetics. If you can compose well, you could do fashion. You could do any kind of photography. And a brief interaction with Raghu sir. It was just one essay that I had worked with him and laid out with him at Marie Claire. Learned quite a lot. That's it. I mean, this quarantine would only be remembered for these talks that F.Stop did with us.
How lovely.
And very
nice. Very nice.
Thank you, Mitesh. Okay,
Devang is saying he has a special announcement on 3rd of May.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's happening actually on 2nd of May, not 3rd of May. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly ask all of our panelists here in no particular order, no alphabetical or nothing. Just a few thoughts from each of you. Please, we don't want anything about F.Stop. Just say about your feelings and your experience of these talks, these days, whatever. Joe, you haven't said a word today. Let's start.
You said no particular order.
No,
Cheater.
but then you.
I've been happily sitting here smiling away at this entire interaction. Yeah. Okay, so I do have something to say. During my talk, I think I was number 3 on the panel or something like that, right? So during my session that I took, Devang asked a simple question here. He asked, who are your inspirations, right? And I listed off this long list of names, and I won't even take them now. And right after that, you joked saying that that's funny, Joe. I think, but some of the panelists would be bummed by not hearing their names here, right? Fast forward to a month later, right? And here I'm thinking it's not taken me 30 days to discover all of you guys. I'm just sad that it's taken me 36 years to discover all of this, literally, right? And I have myself to blame for that. Before this started, before this activity of 2 hours every day started, right? Looking back, I almost consider myself illiterate. Like literally, that's how I feel. This past month has been life changing. I cannot. I'm not even. I don't consider that as hyperbole or anything. Just the simplest way I can say it, right? And when this lockdown began, when the announcement came in, we all knew it was something like that was going to come in. So I had written down something to myself saying, I really want to learn something new. I didn't know what that would be, but I thought that it'll be nice to learn something new. I had no clue that in the last month I would go back to relearning something very, very old, something I've been doing for like 20 years, and I'm having to rediscover it completely end to end. So thank you to all 15 of you. It's not just F.Stop, it's not just the 3, but it's every single one of you. Like Amit, Tarun nailed it when he said that there is a stillness in you, because I remember throughout my talk, I was literally only looking at your face because you have this sense of you and Swapan said it also. You are this anchor to every single talk, and I can't say it in any other way. Yeah, thank you so much, every single one of you. Right, and I've only met like a couple of you. Hopefully, when this lockdown ends, the first thing you 3 need to do is figure out how we are all going to catch up, because we cannot be boxes on a screen. If that's possible.
I think I'm going to on the WhatsApp group.
By the way, Tarun hello. I'm saying, by the way, Tarun has the most glamorous beard on this entire panel.
That I agree.
Sir, चलिए आप ही बोल दीजिए अभी.
Pass the ball to Tarun.
No, it's on Fauzan. I think I've put him on the spotlight video.
Okay, with Swapan, very beginning, he said we photographers worked in isolation, but I think after the 30 days, I'm very free to pick up my call and ask anybody on the panel.
Yeah, any kind of familiarity.
Any issues, any problems, I think I'll be more comfortable in calling up people and talking to them. And if I need job, I know where to go and ask for it.
And we know where to get our mangoes from.
Oh shit! I hope it's not a lost business for me.
Sir, गुजरात से पंगा लोगे तो यही होगा ना? Yeah, Tarun ji.
Khanna Sahib has not spoken anything today.
Yeah.
Said something very poignant today.
Yeah, today he said, men with the wisdom.
मैं एक लाइन बोलता हूँ यार, वो बोल दी मैंने.
Asking rate ज्यादा होती है, एक बॉल बचता है, 6 ही मारो straight.
No, but one closing comment I would want from everybody.
Vinay. We need Vinay.
हमें थोड़ी comment देने, हमें तो सुनने.
Last going to be edited in season.
Vinay, we want Vinay with expression, not this time.
वो last, I have the closing dialogue.
वो last में सिर्फ यही बोलेगा कि हमने मोदी जी को एप्लीकेशन दी है, सीजन 3 चालू करो. बस उसका अभी यही है. वो डालता मेरे सर पे.
No, Vinay will finally say.
But let me say, Sudhir, why don't you come in here?
Yeah. Fuck. He always come with this long zoom, huh?
In fact, before the session, I was just practicing few of the things.
What do you do? You do workout with these guys or what?
So guys, don't even look at this Zoom. I have already booked it. He's going to will me.
Lockdown.
This whole platform has been fantastic. In fact, when initially like Devang asked me, talk to me, I didn't know what to expect out of this, what to present. But then when I attended a few sessions, I think the kind of knowledge this platform has given all of us, right? Even though like my genre is totally different. But I think even for me personally, like listening to so many of you, each of those learnings I can apply to my field and also like pass it on. So I think that way it's been absolutely fantastic, great learning. And also because of these things, even me and Joseph are in touch a little bit regarding technology and other things, how we can make use of this for better way to reach the masses. So that's been fantastic. And as even you had said, like we can reach out to anybody, and even I'm looking forward to like meeting a lot of you. I know a lot of you already have met in person here, but definitely like looking forward for some kind of a meet once this lockdown gets over. So definitely thanks to you folks to make this platform available for all of us to share our knowledge and even our learnings from our life. So that's all I would like to say. Fantastic experience.
Awesome, Sudhir. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Technically, the session is ended, correct?
No.
Sir, abhi nahi hua hai.
We're still live on YouTube, guys. Just.
I think these are going to be sound bites for season 3 launch.
These are our closing ceremony.
Are we getting that feeling? It's a marketing strategy happening here.
Please.
Okay. So जैसा कि मैंने टॉक में बोला था जब मेरे सेशन में कि it was in 1993 and I met my guru and who मुझे एहसास हुआ था कि मेरे अंदर बहुत एरोगेंस है और फिर वो मिले मुझे और उन्होंने कैसे जैसे एक कपड़े को पानी में डुबो के पत्थर पे मार मार के उसकी सारी अकड़ निकालते हैं वो सारा निकाला। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इतने साल बाद अगर कुछ थोड़ी बहुत अकड़ दोबारा आ गई हो, कुछ एरोगेंस अगर दोबारा आ गया हो, हालांकि मैंने बहुत कोशिश की अपनी तरफ से कि कभी ऐसे ना हो, लेकिन हम अनछुए नहीं रह सकते इन सब चीजों से because we live in the world where lot of attention comes and and आपके बारे में कभी लिखा जाता है, कभी टेलीविजन पे हो तो अटेंशन आता है, तो हो सकता है कि आ गया हो। और अगर वो आया तो इन कुछ दिनों में हर एक बंदे ने हर एक अपनी टॉक से पटक पटक के जो पीटा है और जो सारी बची खुची अकड़ निकाली है, उसके लिए आई एम जस्ट रियली थैंकफुल टू एवरीवन बिकॉज दिस वाज मोस्ट हम्बलिंग and one of the most important experiences of my life. I don't think that I've been so moved on everyday basis. Like, you once in a while something comes in your life when you're so moved that, it gives a huge impact on you. But this was day by day, every single day. Everybody's journey. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
अब नहीं.
Ivan, Ashir, Vinay.
Soumya.
Hi, Soumya. Where is Soumya? Here.
Soumya.
So, pehle, let me start with, it has to begin with Vinay, Devang, and Ashir for doing all of this and putting all of this together so selflessly and kind of giving us a platform to learn so much. पहले मैं सबको यहाँ पे as photographers जानती थी, लेकिन this is a place where I've learned to know people through their photographs in ways more than one. Like everyone sitting here on the panel, And everyone's been so kind. Like, obviously I've been mentored by Amit sir. Raj is a very dear friend, and they have always been like supported me. Dinesh sir has a very vocal supporter of my work. But जिस दिन मेरी टॉक थी उस टॉक से just पहले Swapan messaged me wishing me luck, and I was so touched by that gesture. Right after that talk, Tarun called me, and he said, "I'm sorry I could not be there for your talk, but I'm definitely going to listen to it." And there's so many amazing things happening on the group that it feels like there's so many, that it's something that I have missed. Baman sir messaged me with a nice note on, how he learned how to feel, and there was so much of emotions in it. Even through the sessions when all of you were asking me questions, there was so much that I was learning about my works by the questions that everyone was asking here. So I think ये एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म बन गया जो हमने शायद आई डोंट नो कि विनय देवांग और आशित ने भी इमेजिन किया था कि वो ऐसा बन जाएगा कि it will be so much more about, it won't be just about learning at a level of photography, but learning as humans and kind of bonding together through that common love we have. So I mean, it's been a very humbling experience. I'm so grateful that I got to know all of you through this platform. You know, everyone has been so nice and warm. Even like everyone just saying a pleasant hi every time we come in is, it's like थोड़े दिन पहले तक हम जानते भी नहीं थे, and now it's become so indispensable for all of us to be here in the afternoon. So thank you so much for creating this.
Thank you. Okay, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm going to have to do that.
Mic पकड़ लो मेरा जी.
हाँ.
नहीं ये है ना हमारे Mr. Eloquent.
No, this talk
Raj.
turns out to be great leveler. हाँ ये राज बोलेगा. राज क्वेश्चन मत पूछना प्लीज.
हाँ बस.
राज 500 वर्ड चेंज हो गई है.
इतना मैंने मॉडरेट किया है, मैंने मॉडरेशन में तो मॉडरेट नहीं किया है. Then you put the spotlight on me.
Hopefully you sleep and better hour now.
आज राज हिंदी में बोल प्लीज.
ये स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी एक्ट बन जाएगा अगर मैं हिंदी में बात करूंगा.
बैठे बैठे बोल दे.
ठीक है.
पहले तो शपथ लेके I will always be on time.
Oh my God, I was only 2 minutes late today. Actually 5.
National Photographic Network, please say it.
Trying to improve, but no, yeah. I mean, photography is so lonely as a practice that we are all lonely together now. We're all lonely together, so it might be lonely, but we're not alone. There are, I mean, how many of our boxes are there on the screen, and the beauty is that none of you are boxes. Some of you, I have the fortune of calling you really close friends. Some of you we've met once in a while. Some of you I haven't, and the beauty is that this 1 month has ensured that you really know the person behind the photographer or the cinematographer, and that's really lovely. Over the years, every time I've interacted with photographers, even earlier when I used to write on photographers, interview photographers, I've always maintained that there is a great amount of learning that we can get by looking at someone's work, but most often the amount of learning comes from just observing that person. Observing that person, not even when they are shooting. Of course, when they are shooting, you will observe what they are reacting to and how they are lighting something and all that. But just observing the very tiniest nuances or quirks or the madness of the tiny idiosyncrasies of that human being. And a session like this, where you have had these lovely 2-hour conversations with so many photographers, helps all of us reconnect to the person behind those photographs. And even when I spoke, I think you learn a lot about yourself by seeing other people.
Yeah.
By seeing what they are reflecting from your work. When that other person in front of you sort of becomes a mirror and tells you what is it about your work that is talking to them or not talking to them. And for me, even even when I showed my works and the way everyone responded, and the way everyone didn't respond, because from time to time, I have a habit of going from active speaker view to grid view so that I can see everyone's face, and see like the tiniest of gestures or facial expressions that somebody is making, because that's when you really know that's when this camera does not lie. A lot of cameras lie, but this camera does not lie.
What do you have
So,
to say about Vinay?
thank you. What do I have to say about Vinay?
Vinay's expressions.
Oh God,
Sorry,
ये अलग बात है यार. See, Vinay is the kind of person. The beauty about Vinay as a person and as a photographer, and his most irritating quality is the fact that he does not react to anything. Okay, it is an amazing quality. It is an amazing quality, especially when you're on shoot and there is something that's going wrong, or there is some tension, or I mean, the last time we shot together was in Gurgaon. No, it was in Rajasthan after that. The thing with him is that every shoot we've done, whether it's been in Bombay, in Gurgaon, in Rajasthan, all these shoots I've done with him, something is going wrong and he's like, zero expression. And then somebody is like saying happy birthday, and again like zero expression. Then you'll tell him India won the World Cup, zero expression. Then you'll tell them ki coronavirus ho gaya, again zero expression. And it can get irritating, but it's this thing that probably allows him to I don't know, be
Smiling, huh?
calm within that chaos that he shoots. I mean, every time he shoots, there is chaos in the frame, and he makes a very calm picture out of that chaos. He handles these 20 things happening in the frame, and as I joke with him all the time, there are 36 people in his frame all the time, and how he manages that is a crazy skill. But I think it comes from that completely calm demeanor that you're seeing on screen right now. So the lack of expressions has a good side to it.
Calm waters run deep.
He smiled.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you.
विनय का एक्सप्रेशन सिर्फ एक ही चीज पे चेंज होगा. अभी उसको बोलो कि थर्ड सीजन भी शुरू कर दे.
I would be the happiest. Yes, sir.
Prashant ji, we
God बोले.
God बोले. Okay.
Sir, God बोले.
बोलता है, जब बोलता है तो
गाली मत दे अभी. Thank you, F.Stop for calling an art director, advertising art director into this amazing people. I never called myself art photographer because I always wanted to learn photography, because it's part of our scheme of things that you need to learn photography, you need to learn design, you need to learn typography, you need to learn. So one of the fields was photography, and photography, thanks to friends like Sopan and Prabhudo and Farooq and Tejal and Prasad, they dragged me into this field, and as a hobby I started, and you have given me respect of calling me here itself is a big thing for me. So I thank you.
this coming from someone who's getting all the assignments today. Lovely. I don't call my Prashad. Very good.
Not true.
Big hugs.
Thank you so much, Shyam sir.
Big hugs.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
No. It was such a wonderful journey for everyone. And it's such a great leveler. This platform turns out to be a camera kar diya hai aapne. So yeah, I mean, as Swapan said, we need to have at least, not at least, as what he said, it's better to have 4 friends who can, pull you and who can be very ruthless to you, who can always show you the mirror. I would say, we have gained more and more friends, at least, or how many of us are here, 15, 20. So such lovely vibes, such lovely expressions, and such openness to life. Everybody has, even if a few of us were living in some sort of boxes, we have just come out and we are able to denounce it, and we are able to say that, boss, okay, there things were going wrong personally, okay, just eliminate those. The word is beautiful, the other point of view is also beautiful. It's such a wonderful thing, and such lovely friends. I have been very lucky to have friends. Of course, Raj is there, Sopan is there, Ashar तो है ही. ये तरुण बैठा है, इसे शायद याद नहीं होगा, जब ये दिल्ली आया था तो इसका फर्स्ट फ्लैट की डील कराने मैं ही गया था. 5,000 रुपीज रेंट था, ये मेरे स्कूटर पे गया था. तो those kind of things, you know, so it goes a long way. And what you people have done, F.Stops, and of course, you know, even you people didn't realize when Vinay called me initially, it was a 5 days, I would say, 5-day plan, you know, 5 photographers के, sir, let's start something in 5 days. और फिर जैसे वो कहते हैं ना कि लोग मिलते गए, दोस्त बढ़ते गए और कारमा चलता गया. तो कारमा चलता गया. थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम ये है, मोदी साहब कह रहे हैं कि इसको यहीं रोकेंगे, लेकिन आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट हिम अगेन कि मत रोको इसे. No, but thank you so much. It turns out to be a wonderful experience with everyone. Everybody is just open his heart out here. You know, it's not this platform, I would say, I was about to say about for Amit, you know, this man is a brainless man. उस आदमी के पास दिमाग ही नहीं है, सिर्फ दिल ही दिल है उसके पास. Ashar के पास, वो उसके पास सिर्फ दिल है. I would say, you know, on this platform, the mind business has just gone out of the window. What remained is only the heart. Everybody has just opened his heart. So thank you so much for being so gracious, being so open. Love is flowing. And I think, you know, people out there, photographers have got, I mean, big egos, you know, they live in their own bubbles.
बहुत सही बात थी.
So people out there must go and see these YouTube 31 days. How photographers also open up, how they melt down, and how they confess their failures, their shortcomings, and they can also cry. So lovely people you are.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I will add a third antara to Gulzar Saab's line that I quoted a little while back. I'll say, गले लगा के F.Stop ने हैरान कर दिया, मुस्कुरा के F.Stop ने हैरान कर दिया. आप लोगों ने तीनों ने बड़े एफर्टलेसली, बड़े ऑनेस्टी से कुछ शुरू किया, ये सोच के probably आई एम अज्यूमिंग दिस कि यार कुछ करते हैं, ये टाइम किसी तरह से यूटिलाइज करते हैं, लॉकडाउन है तो करते हैं, होंगे 15-20 लोग तो मिल ही जाएंगे सुनने वाले. ये नहीं सोचा होगा कहाँ तक बात जाएगी. और उसी शिद्दत से योर इन्वॉल्वमेंट केप्ट गेटिंग increasing till I think now I don't know how many hours of sleep you guys get in a day. Probably now you're planning your sleep patterns. But I think that will be short-lived too. Season 3 is absolutely imminent. आपके भी हाथ में नहीं है, अब तो बात निकल चुकी है बाहर. But I seriously do think that you guys should think of it as a festival, because I can't think of anybody else who could do. I'd been to a festival of photography in Pondicherry once, and I think it lends itself as a great place. But those people who organized that festival maybe weren't as adept at it, or they could not knock the right doors. But I think Devang, Ashit, Vinay, you guys somehow, if it's about time there was a good festival of, it should be festival not just showcasing work, but it should have its aesthetic in such a way. It should be a getaway also. It's like how people get away to Cannes. I think there are so many places in India where something like that could be done, and I really do think that you guys can do it. If there's anyone who can pull this off well, you guys should be able to do that very nicely.
Sir, हमें डर लग रहा है कि हम कहीं करने जाएं.
I'm in a big dilemma. Please help me. Whenever I get down at Ahmedabad airport, I'm entitled for 2 bottles. As Gabbar would say, bottle दो और आदमी 3. क्या करना?
अच्छा, ये
can we go off YouTube?
हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं ना बार बार की सीजन 3, हम बार बार इनको बार-बार रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं तीनों को। हाँ, रिक्वेस्ट करने की जरूरत भी नहीं है। ये तीनों भी नहीं रह पाएंगे हम सबके बिना।
ये नहीं रह पाएंगे।
ये भी तो सोचो।
इनका खुराक बन चुकी है।
खुद नहीं रहा जाएगा हमारे बिना। ये लेके आएंगे अभी सीजन 3, आप देखते जाओ।
तो बदहजमी हो जाएगी अगर नहीं ज्यादा दिन बैठे रहे ऐसे ही।
How can they live without so much love?
मोदी जी सोचिए।
Yeah, love is an addiction too.
I have a slightly different take on this.
पुकार है मोदी जी।
Summer.
Yes.
समर सो गया?
नहीं, I had to actually my computer died, so I've come to the phone instead.
Oh.
So it's all handled now.
Oh.
So, Summer, would you like to say something about this?
Well, I think everybody has spoken so much about it, and I really I believe I so much connect what each of you have spoken. But I think for me, I have seen so much of work of people on this panel. Some of us are friends because we met each other. Some I've only heard about them but never met them in person. I think for me the biggest thing has been that each of us have been so we managed to deconstruct, demystify what we are as human beings. And that is what lies behind every picture or every face we put to the world out there. Because nobody really knows what's going on inside that man, and I don't mean just that moment of I'm inspired with this, so I got connected with that. But I think, end of the day, as even Amit said that, we are human beings, we have all our emotions, we break down, we celebrate, we are joyful, all that stuff. But I think the biggest thing this platform has done is that all of a sudden, I know, 16, 20 people beyond their work. And I think for me, that's the biggest takeaway.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. And we have
I think Swapan was saying something.
Swapan is the finale. Swapan is the finale. Swapan, the last word, man. I would request Anil Mehta ji to.
Yeah,
So we know that you've not been here on the panel for just about not more than 2 days, but it was heartening to know that you've been following the series on YouTube. So you're
So yeah, in a sense, that's what it's been about. That I actually felt that this was a forum for still photographers. So I got a little sense of that being the outsider. But having been here, that's all I can say. That I really truly feel that I inhabit this room and that I've made friends here without ever having met so many of you. So it's like Samar was saying, that's the big takeaway. I've gotten to know so many people and made so many friends here. So Tarun, don't be surprised if you get an SMS from me also saying, "Ke bhaiya ye kaam hai, zara kar dijiye."
No.
Yeah, thanks for that, guys. It's just been a very overwhelming experience. And like I said, that as film people, we tend to sort of exist in a little incestuous circle, and that opening up and seeing so much work, so much precious work from so many still photographers, for me personally, has been very, very enriching. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Anil.
Sir,
पंजाबी में बोलो आज कुछ.
पंजाबी की गल करा फिर. नहीं, पंजाबी कहना कि बड़े ना मजा आया पिछले 30 दिना तो 31 स्पीकर से गए किन्ने से गए
31 yes
31 बोले सी 31 आवाज़ां सीगियां there's only that
दिल फाड़ के बोले सी.
I can only keep saying ditto to what Amit Ashar said. I can only say ditto to what Tarun said. I can only say ditto to what Anilji said. What Samar said, what Soumya said. There really is nothing new I want to say. But मेरी बचपन से आदत है of being a contrarian, which is like, if you remember my talk, I didn't want to be a photographer because my father was one. So, one thing I would want to say is that don't do season 3 right now. Don't do season 3 right now. Let's live with this. Let's savor this. Let's, its success should be taken up to a point, and what should be taken out of here, I think, really is a nichod. And what I hope F.Stop will do, which I think you people have already proved to yourself, you don't have to prove it to anyone else, that you've created a platform, you've created a community. And I think you owe it to that community now to take this forward, but not necessarily as a clubhouse every day, but as a platform for learning and sharing, which probably happens once a month or once in 2 months. I don't know what the format is. It's a format which I'm sure you people will hit upon yourself. And something which is a personal bug in my mind, which, whether it's from the Delhi Photo Festival, etc., or from doing workshops, it is deplorable that our young photographers don't know enough about our work. And if some kind of platform can be made where you can ensure that people also see work. I mean, this has been great knowing about people, how they work, how they feel, how they think. And this is now an archive, and this is really something which is a repository of everyone's feelings. And I definitely will be sending my students to this time and again. But एक ये दिमाग में प्लीज जो अमित अशर ने अभी बीच में बोली है कि चाहे वो फेस्टिवल का रूप ले, चाहे वो कोई वेबसाइट का रूप ले, बट मेरा दिल टूट जाता है जब मैं किसी यंग फोटोग्राफर से पूछता हूँ, who are you inspired by, or whose work are you, and all they can do is give you Western names. It is terrible, and it is hurtful. And really looking forward and going forward, I would say do these two things. One, I'm not saying I'm asking F.Stop to do that, but really it's incumbent on all of us really. कि एक प्लेटफॉर्म बनाइए, एक जगह बनाइए जहां से पता लगे ना कि स्वपन पारेख, चाहे स्वपन पारेख might want to be a recluse. It's his right to be recluse, but it's not his right to hide his work. Right? I want to know, and I want to tell people, फौजान ने ये 6 किताब, उसकी टॉक जान के टेरेक्स पे आपको पता लगेगा कैसे जिंदगी काटी जाती है, कैसे फोटोग्राफी जो है जिंदगी ही आपकी, और जिंदगी आपकी जो वो फोटोग्राफी है, वो इतना सीमलेसली जब बात आप समझेंगे ना, तभी आके जाके कुछ कर पाएंगे. Sorry, it's turned into a lecture, but this is from my heart. ते एमआई कहना सी मैंने completely और नहीं कहूँगा.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
You are the best friend of Mr. Modi, I must say.
Dinesh, you actually stole a little of my thoughts. In fact, I was thinking on the same lines. In fact, when season 2 happened, also I told Vinay and Devang, mat karo. I said there can be only one Woodstock. You don't want Woodstock Part 2. And I was proven wrong. Even now, if you talk about season 3, and I think season 2, what was most beautiful, we as photographers, completely got an entire perspective of greats like Anil sir and Anil G. Sorry, no sir, Anil G. Anil G. And people like Kabir and Priya coming and talking, and Konkana, and a completely different perspective of another visual medium, which I think we got to learn from. So I think that was the beauty about the season 2, that it went into a different. Now season 3, again, you can call me the eternal pessimist, that mat karo, because leave people hungry. We've bhook abhi to mitti hai, रहने दो यहाँ पे, savor something. Let's just taste and enjoy what we were tasting just now, is what I feel, and selfie of anything could lead to loathing also. So leave it there just now. Let it savor for a while, and like Dinesh says, maybe it comes back in some other form, once a month, once something, so that this I think just has gone into a space of archiving. It's, I think, a mini archive of Indian photography already has happened. And another thing I wanted to say, which I was feeling very strongly about, that this platform was very Indian. We play to our strengths. That's what I like, and it's not about naming Westerners, but I think we play to our strengths. You try and talk about heart and feeling and all in a Western audience, 2 minute में उड़ा के आपको फेंक देंगे. They don't understand that language. जो हम दिल से बात करते हैं और दिल की बात करते हैं, that's not a way they function. For them, it's like, A for apple, B for this. And I'm not talking that people there don't feel, but they don't get lost in those conversations. And I think we are like this, and high time people know that this is the way we practice our photography, and this is our backyard. And, we need our voices to be heard in the context of where we come from as individuals. So I think that is the beauty, what has happened here. जो दिल की बात हम लोग कर रहे हैं, और जो हम लोग इतने emotional हुए, I think that shows a certain intrinsic quality of us as Indians. And I think that is what has been so beautiful. और अगर एक कोई फेस्टिवल होता, भाई भाई को राखी बांधता है, तो मैं 3 राखी, ये 3 मस्केटर्स को मैं बांधता था. But it's just been so beautiful.
क्या बात.
Thank you, Sapan. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Ashit, you have to say something now.
Yes.
Well, what can I say? I think all these people, they've said so many amazing things. The only thing I think which was great about this was that it was very organic. We didn't have like a structure or a format that I think Vinay just called and said let's do this, and we started like that. So I think and we thought we'll absorb a lot, but I think it's been a lot of clearing of head. I think that's been the most important thing. So yeah, thank you all.
Awesome, Ashit.
चल विनय एक एक्टिंग कर ले अभी बस लास्ट.
I think I was also personally very scared when we announced season 2. पहले तो मैं कहूँगा it was not that easy. Like Ashit and Devang have, they really, I just had an idea and told them, and the beauty of F.Stop has been like they never questioned on day one के क्यों करना है, and when season 2 was being announced, I'm sure all three of us were 99% sure we won't do it. But I don't know why we did it, and I'm sure all three of us are happy that we did season 2 also, and what better to end today with Ashar. Thank you, Ashar, for calling me and saying that I want to show my work, and what a loss it would have been for all of us.
What a loss it would have been for me. Not be a part of this. I would have forever been.
We have had tough times during the talks. All of us know we've had our bumps and our bad roads, but thank you so much. I've been calling almost each one of you every day, and दिन के 4-5 घंटे phone पे भी जाते थे, and thank you so much that you guys have stuck by us and stood by us for whatever we've done, and वैसे भी मेरे पास तो शब्द नहीं होते, but आज बिल्कुल ही नहीं. Thank you, and great work, guys. Ashit and Devang, like know the amount of hard work that even Ashit doesn't say anything, but the amount of work that he's handling Instagram during these talks and handling the entire social media, creating so many creatives, and it's been such a wonderful journey. Every morning we were calling up a speaker, doing tech checks, and it became like a routine of life. So as Tarun said, it's going to be really difficult for us to live without this love that you've given us. It's going to be really difficult. But yes, we have decided we're not going to launch season 3 for now, and we do apologize, to some people who have felt hurt, or we have had suggestions that we could not include certain gender, like women speaker come the, but let me put it on record. We did try, and we did invite a lot of women speakers through Dinesh sir tried, and even Amit tried. We tried our best to get whoever we could. This was not about any gender, or this was not about any religion, or promoting North Indians and leaving out South Indians. It was about photography and photographers who I knew, and all three of us could reach out to. And when we are really happy that we could reach out to all of you, and we are really hoping we can reach out to every great Indian photographer that is there, with your help. We are hoping we can cover every Indian photographer who's good on F.Stop very soon.
Wow, lovely.
But Vinay, don't worry about not calling many women photographer, because यहाँ पे कम से कम 5 फोटोग्राफर ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने बोला था कि उनकी वाइफ ने उनको हेल्प किया था, सपोर्ट किया था.
बिल्कुल.
तो वो सपोर्ट आई गया किसी ना किसी और तरीके से.
Okay, guys, thank you so much.
Season,
Sorry.
2 stops under face will not work. He's in the background, but literally background में रहता है ये तो.
Thank you so much, everyone. I think thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for sharing your experiences. Thank you for sharing your love. It's been just phenomenal. I don't need that spotlight. I think I'm just fine in this. I just want to see everyone, because I think everyone would be having this feeling that maybe कल दोपहर को 2:30 बजे हमको ऐसा boxes नहीं देखने को मिलेगा. But I had a lot of conversations with a lot of friends in this panel, and we've come to call all of you as friends, and it's just like when you see a very beautiful movie, and when when that movie says the end, or then there is says directed by, and you suddenly feel, oh my god, movie khatam ho gayi kya? Kyun khatam hui? Why does this movie have to end? It's that sort of a feeling that we have been getting all the time, that eventually if we have to put up this the end banner, how will we personally feel, because it's been so touching for us, and the experience has been even more overwhelming for somebody like me, who really, somebody just asked me during the series, how comes you are so involved in photography? I don't see you, going out or shooting so much or sharing your work or whatever. And I just said, because I personally don't think it has to be so apparent for you to believe and love something. You don't have to make it so apparent that you have to show that you have gone out on shooting or show your work. So for the three of us, more than anything else, uh, the pure love for photography is what has kept all three of us connected, and all three of us on similar thought processes, or on similar lines. It's like, just like Vinay said, if he calls and says, let's do this, we don't even have to think twice that, oh, let's think कि ये ऐसा होगा वैसा होगा क्या होगा कैसे होगा. So it's that sort of a feeling that we have had from the day when we started F.Stop, and it's just the journey of these last 12 years has been so amazing. And to see that we have had so much of privilege, and so much of I don't know, I'm sometimes lost for words. It's been so amazing that all of you, whenever Vinay has called you, or whenever he's reached out to any of you, and he's always come back and said, hey, hello, Swapan ne haan bol diya. Hey, hello, Tarun is on. Hey, hello, Soumya is there. And immediately, I'm like, it's not necessary that I would, for example, know each and every name in the I'm not a voracious photography book reader like Raj or Raghav, for example, so I wouldn't know. And so immediately the next step would be, okay, Vinay has finalized this name and found this photographer, so let's just do a research कि कौन है, क्या है, उनके बारे में क्या बोलना है, उनका क्या दिखाना है, and वो क्या दिखाएंगे, and what should be everything. So that involvement from all three of us is so lovely. It's so equivalent, and that is something that keeps us going. To what Ashar Saab said about, you said something about a Pondicherry festival you went to, and it was a great event, but you
it was a great space, but
yeah,
didn't translate.
And we've had these discussions internally, and sometimes we have this fear that if we try to do a festival, what if we turn into those kind of organizers?
No, you won't.
Would any of you be so open and so willing and so kind to just come and share your heart and share your world with us?
Don't look at me.
Of course.
That's the fear that we have typically, whenever we'll try to do something, think of something very
I think I'll just add to Devang. I think most of our events have been so organic,
Yes.
We meet once in a year, okay? All three of us being in the city, either Vinay calls, usually it's Vinay who calls and say, let's meet for a coffee. And by the end of the coffee, we have someone we decide, that, okay, let's have a workshop with, and he ends up calling in between, the coffees and like, ho gaya. Again, how like typical Vinay, ho jayega, isko bulate hain, ho jayega. And then by the end of the coffee, we have a session ready, with us. So, yeah.
Yeah, and in this journey, I mean, like, so today, we couldn't get Daman, for somebody like Daman, Daman Thakur. He's a friend in Ahmedabad, and you will not really believe that sometimes our events have happened because somebody has called us up and said कि यार मेरा नया gallery खुल रहा है या ये मेरा नया space है, so can you do an event? And we have done an event just because that gallery is opening or that space is opening up. And so Daman was the first one who offered his conference room in his business space and said, तुम लोग ये talk कर रहे हो तो मेरा conference room तो Sunday को free होता है. So the whole journey of these 12 years has been absolutely organic. We have literally never sat down and planned anything. But once again, from all three of us, and I can say it on behalf of Vinay and Ashit, thank you so much for sharing your journeys, your life, your work, your experiences, and the beauty, the expressions that we have got from today also. When Swapan called me in the morning, I told Swapan, I said, यार ये मेरे लिए भी सरप्राइज होना चाहिए था. I would also have loved to experience that presentation at that time. But he said कि नहीं यार किसी को तो
He always does that.
And I think we should also thank the people who are there. It's been 4 hours today. I see people logging in from 2:30 or 6:30, and there are 70 people still in the room right now.
Yeah.
And I want to say this today, that one of our favorite people in this whole room, Baman, he's not been able to be with us for the last few talks.
Yeah.
But he's there with us in spirit all the time. I'm missing him a lot today. But he's always there in spirit with us. I can almost hear him say something warm and funny at the same time, all the time. He's always there in spirit with us. We should all, actually, if he's not listening quietly somewhere, we should all barrage him with wonderful thank you messages and for his such wonderful, warm, inspiring, uplifting
spirit. The spirit
that he brought to the whole thing.
Behind him, the spirit is
always that I have plans for.
But yeah, thank you to all the participants as well.
Which he sent to all of us, right?
Huh?
He sent a poem to all the photographers.
Yes.
Nobody knows about these 2 lines. I'll just say that might represent Bowman very well.
Yeah, go ahead.
I gaze my screen, the collage schools, referring to all these thumbnails. I gaze my screen, the collage schools. My soul most every day. An image frames my greedy mind with words my friends might say.
Oh, beautiful. Very nice.
Beautiful. Thank you to all the participants for once again joining today. We really appreciate your presence. We appreciate your patronage. Thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes,